sure that we're live. And we are live. Let's go. Okay, Name Slayer, episode 42. A quick episode, I presume, because there's a lot of video game content. We are gonna talk about gaming in general. But yeah, let me introduce our panel members. And hey, how are you? What you playing?
I'm good. Just enjoying my Switch a lot more lately. So playing Live Alive and enjoying the shit out of that.
So are
And
you turning into a Nintendo drone now?
nah, absolutely not. This is very temporary. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I have temporary appreciations for Nintendo, and then back to PlayStation and PC.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And how many FPS is it doing?
I mean, Live Alive is not a hard game to run, so that's perfectly fine. Uh, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, on the other hand, is runs a little suspect at times. It's not as bad as Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was, but it's definitely suspect at times.
How bad is 2? Cause when I get into them, I can't handle 20 FPS. I was watching
Hey,
gameplay for Sword and Fairy 20 FPS. I gave up on that.
yeah, I mean it's not pretty. I mean, one of the games you're looking forward to playing on your Switch the most honestly bothered me enough that I couldn't play it, which was
Mm,
Astral Chain. So
I'm dying to play that game, so rip. And
yeah,
it's
so
never going to
that'll
CC, so double rip.
yeah that'll be interesting. However that goes for you. And then of course, like I said earlier, I'm playing also the Quarry. Uh, as Morgan's player too. Um, we're getting through that. It's more interesting than I thought it would be. I'll give it
Mm-hmm.
that. It's actually we're kind of getting to a point where the story's like picking up. Like they're actually starting to figure shit out to a
Mm-hmm.
degree. So we'll continue that more Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's all
Okay.
I've been playing.
Have you played Until Dawn and the rest?
I tried Until Dawn. I don't like it.
Mm.
It's too Jason in the woods, like run for your life, like I'm gonna trip over this tree and die type of thing. Like I can't do
Mm.
that.
Gotcha. To me, cause I watched someone play the Cory, I'm gonna play it myself. To me, it felt like, how should I say this? The it feel for me. Um, their magnum opus is Until Dawn, and this is a down, step back from Until Dawn. They have yet to be able to capture that magic again with Until
Yeah, I
Dawn.
know Until Dawn's like a heavy favorite for a lot of people. It just didn't vibe with me. I let my two nieces played it. They liked it okay, and then they never got further than like chapter two. So I knew they were just bored with it.
Mm.
Uh,
For me, what made Until Dawn great is the characters, believable. And
yeah,
story, I enjoyed the
I could see
story.
that.
Yeah. Viper, clearly not late, on time. How are you? What have you been playing?
How's it going? How's it going? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yep.
hear you well.
All right, had to be sure. Um, I wanted to see what all the hoopla was about Digimon Survive, so I turned that on for about a good
You
two
got
hours.
one fight, right?
Um, yeah, I'm a, yeah, I'm I'm gonna still play it,
Wait, so how is it? I'm curious, cause maybe that might be
whether
the
it's a
same.
visual novel or not. Um, I I booted up a little cow, the kangaroo. Kind of platformy. I
Dude,
not
hold
my
up.
not type, but I'm.
You
Go
you're
ahead. What's up?
skipping. You're skipping. You said you're playing. You tried Digimon. How is it? I'm curious.
Oh, it's just like a visual novel. It's a lot of reading, some fights, some more reading, some fights. I only played like 2 hours.
Okay, so how was the fight? Is it quick? Do you need to do a lot of thinking? the consequences for your action, something like that?
Uh, I think I only had one decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know enough to go on. I just booted it up to see why everybody was fussing about it. I didn't really go deep into that game.
Gotcha. And it's basically a visual novel with sometimes fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the
Um,
Kangaroo?
that one's actually pretty solid. I like it. It's like a faster Crash. It's very, very fast paced. But it's a platform. They hide shit. You go find it. What can I say?
Okay. That's on my
Um,
list to play.
I was a little bit late because I got a GT7 league, so I was playing GT7. Um, I didn't hop on and do any races until 3:30 because I had to do the timestamps for WUP since it was a long WUPs today. I got only like three races. Believe it or not, an hour and a half is three races because you got to
Okay.
wait for everybody. You got to wait for everybody to get ready and say, "Are you ready? Are you good? All right, let's get started." So I did three or four races in GT7. Um, uh, is it wrong to pick up chicks in a dungeon? I
Yeah.
don't know where to be. I don't know where to begin with that game, but I'm about to put it down. It's not what I thought it would be. Uh,
So is it
it's not
like
it's
the robot game? The chick with the
it,
robot? Is it like that
not
or is it different?
it, it's different. It's like it's a visual novel. It's not as much as a visual novel as Digimon Survive, but there's a lot of reading and it's like dungeon crawling.
Mm.
You go in, hack, slash, get some materials, come back. That's it.
Okay. I might actually enjoy that then. Gotcha, gotcha. Anything
And
else?
and, fi- and finally, what me and you have both been playing is the Sword and Fairy. Um, that one, that
We're
with
gonna
some
leave
minor
that for the
patching.
conversation because
I
we're
know.
gonna go in depth
Okay.
later over about that. Weep, what you been playing and how are you?
Let's start with how I am. I'm good. What I'm playing, I've been playing Live Alive. Uh, got it correct this time, right, Nate? Um, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think I'm gonna take it easy with it because it's not like there's one story you spend 60 hours in and then you're done. It's basically every there's several smaller games basically in it because every you have multiple stories you can choose from. You can pick them in any order, like in prehistoric times, in ancient China, feudal Japan, etc. And I'm sort of playing them in order of the timeline. And while they have sort of similar basic concepts in turn-based gameplay, they have a lot of differences. Like the feudal Japan one is there's actually stealth mechanics involved. You can actually choose to either play it, just kill everything that you come across, or try to avoid them by hiding and sneaking past them. Um, which is probably the better choice, I noticed, because the opponents are quite tough in this part of the game. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Also, especially enjoyed the prehistoric time zone because there's no dialogue there because yeah, you're supposed to play a character before language was invented, so everybody's speaking in icons and gestures, right? That which is pretty funny how they solve that. Like literally have characters pointing like, okay, you have to go in that direction. That because they can't tell you that. Um, yeah, but I think I'm gonna take it slow with that one, and sort of play other games in between. Right now, as you were also and Viper's also doing, I'm playing Sword and Fairy, Fairy Together. Uh, Not very far yet, but I'm enjoying what I'm been playing so far. I know you're gonna go into detail later, but I just want to give my initial impression. I mean, it's clearly not a AAA game, it's a AA game, but it's quite enjoyable, and yeah, I think I'm getting hooked to it, so I think I'm gonna continue playing it.
Gotcha. Oh, what the? Okay. I pressed something. Okay. Morgan, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. So I've been playing, still playing Persona 5 Royale. Still on that, about 80 hours in so far. With no end in sight, and that's perfectly fine. I'm having a blast still.
Are you going to
Also
go
still
back?
playing. I'm thinking about it. I looked at those trophies and they don't look that bad. Like they look like stuff I could do in like one playthrough. So
She
yeah,
absolutely got
probably.
it. She
If
got
you
it.
do everything correct, yes. But if you fuck up once, you're gonna need a second playthrough. So good luck.
Knowing me, I probably will. I'll probably be like finish some chapter and realize I completely forgot to do something.
Yeah,
But
make sure to
yeah,
save often and have different save files. Cause
yeah, that's what they say. But yeah, I'm also still playing Lost Judgment. That's really fun.
1 second. Ghost is saying I am super low. I have. Oh, maybe now. Can you now hear me better, Ghost? Ghost, can you hear me better? I think I have my mic on the low stand. So I'm making sure now my. Okay. Sorry about that, Morgan. Continue.
No, you're good. Yeah, playing Lost Judgment. That's good. I always have a good time with Judgment games. And like Nate said, we're playing the Quarry, and that's fun. I get what you mean, Omar. Like, the characters are really brought out. Until Dawn, and I do kind of like the characters in the Quarry, but they're also kind of stupid, so and a little bit annoying. So yeah.
Especially
In Until
Botox
Dawn, you
bitch.
had a few stupid ones, but you had also some wise ones.
Yeah, but I didn't find them as annoying though. I kind
Really?
of find,
Not even
yeah.
Megan or whatever her name is, the one
Look,
with the.
you gonna lose me with the names because I honestly can't remember any of the characters'
Okay,
names.
the one with the black hair, short black hair, from Until Dawn. You
I'm trying to remember.
forgot.
I
Never
honestly don't
mind.
recall.
Never mind.
It's
Never
been so
mind.
long since I played that game.
I
I just
figured.
remember not being as annoyed with the characters as I am in the
Uh-huh.
Quarry. But I mean, it's still a a fun little game to play with people, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
Um,
Question. Do you own the game or he owns the game?
We both
no,
own the
I think
game.
we both have to own
You
the
both
game to
own the
play.
game. Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
not like
can't.
it takes
Okay,
two.
so it's not
Yeah,
like it
it
takes
takes
two.
two.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
messed up
Yeah,
because
that would be cool, but no, they're like, nah, you both got to pay for this game. Yeah, but
gotcha.
yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Okay, as for me, so I started a game called Dandara. It's almost like Celeste-esque, but with an arrow. What I mean by that is your arrow is you pointed toward a platform and you must always go up or down. You can't move elsewhere. And it got fighting a little bit, it got a lot of bothering, and I recommend it. I took a break from Death Request because I'm now in a period where I'm like in an open area, so I can visit any place I want, and there is a place where I can get the best equipment, but of course the enemies are gonna eviscerate me. So that's going to be a grind and a half for that one. I'm thinking of putting data request on easy. I'm playing now on normal. By putting it on easy, I can farm faster against and get more experience. And when I want to fight a boss, then I put back to normal and fight the normal way. This way, I can almost like speed up my playthrough because I am not having like it's not fun to grind like that when you know in easy mode you can get a lot of better what's called um, XP. And
Oh,
other
so
than yeah,
the rewards are better on
yeah,
the easier
so
level. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so basically you I think the enemies are easier. To be fair, they have less health. But for me, I already beat them before, so I already know I can beat them. It's just a matter of doing them over and over again, so I can level up faster and get money, which I'm basically now rich, so I can buy anything I want. Um,
That Cosmic Star Heroine game, by the way, got the plat for that. Forgot to mention that one. That
nice.
one is the same. That's the same way. It's the same way where the harder it is, the less shit you get. The easier it is, the more stuff you get.
That's you. Like I'm all about playing on normal or hard difficulty, but why make XP less? Why not just make enemies harder? That's it. Call today. By doing it XP less, now you're forcing me to put it on easy now. Cause I don't like, you know me, I have a lot of games to play. I put more than 20 hours in Sword and Fairies. So, I'm not gonna, and if Sword and Fairies and stuff like that, I would have put it on easy. Cause I'm not about that life limiting me because of my time instead of making your enemies harder, which I'm okay with. And yeah, um, we're gonna talk about foreign affairs, of course, and that's about it. So let's get to a very first topic, which is going to be Tencent and Ubisoft. Apparently, they are in bed together, and we might actually see an acquisition for Tencent buying Ubisoft. Um, give me a second so I pull up the. Where is that shit? So I'm gonna ask you then, Nate, what's your thoughts on that before I pull up the article?
I mean, I don't have anything amazing to say about Tencent, but I mean, the company's so big at this point. It's I don't really know what to say about that. It's I mean, they
It's
could do
massive, right?
more. Yeah, I mean, they could do more harm than good. I mean, essentially, but they could also just purchase it, collect the profits, and not give a shit. I mean, I don't really know what their mo would be for it. They just seem to really want it badly. I mean, I'd have to see what the results are from that because there's plenty of companies that they're in on that release things that plenty of people like. So, not going to say if they purchase them like, oh, Ubisoft's done. Like that would be ridiculous. They wouldn't want to purchase them if that was the case. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to fuck up the thing that you're buying. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know where that would go. I mean, potentially they could have more money at their disposal, but just because Tencent is a ridiculously rich ass company doesn't mean they're going to, you know, um, allocate an extended amount of funds for Ubisoft to do even more work. Because Ubisoft is already a very expensive company as it is. They have some of the largest development teams, literally in all of gaming. So I mean, if it does happen, I mean, I hope it's a good thing, but I think that potentially, we could see some repercussions from that a little bit later on. I mean, Ubisoft hasn't been fighting them off for like 10 years for no reason. So I think they at least have some idea of what they believe they're going to do or what they could do. Um, so I don't think Ubisoft's concerns are unfounded. And what could happen potentially. But then again, they could be wrong, and it could be really great. So
So,
yeah, it's very hard to say.
So, according to Reuters sources, Tencent plans to become the largest shareholder of Ubisoft. Tencent offers up to €100 per share. It
Yeah, they're
paid
paying over double.
66 per share in 2018, so less than double to be fair.
Yeah, they're
So,
paying double. So the shares are actually worth 45, and
okay,
they're paying
okay,
shareholders
okay.
105.
So, a friend of mine called this a hostile takeover. Would you
I mean,
consider that to be one?
absolutely. When your company is publicly traded and someone is force buying your stock that you essentially don't want to sell, I mean, it's nothing but that. Um, that's why they're paying as much as they are. Let me pay these shareholders so much over their stock that no matter what, they're going to sell to me.
Okay.
That is definitely a hostile takeover.
So for me, the final key point is the final not topic, the final sentence, which is Tencent is very determined to nail down the deal as Ubisoft is such an important strategic asset for Tencent. So when I'm reading this, I'm thinking they have planned ahead, and Ubisoft is not the only victim. What I mean by that, we're gonna see other. I would not be surprised if they pick up EA next, or hey, they're going to be our next topic, maybe Square.
Yeah,
Um.
I pray to God that Tencent goes nowhere near that.
Okay, so I have a question for you, and also for that, and even you, Goat, you can answer it. Why are people not a fan of China and Tencent? I'm genuinely curious.
I mean, China's a pretty invasive, has a history of being a pretty invasive country to begin with. I mean, a lot of malware and a bunch of other shit uh, of their products in other countries have been found, and USB sticks and all kinds of other shit. Like it can. There's so many issues with
But
a
to
lot
be,
of products that come
but but to
from
be
there that people don't
fair,
like.
but to be fair, USA is not innocent either. They have done shit ton of stuff. I would not be surprised if they've done everything that they are accusing Tencent of doing.
The
So,
the issue is that they're Tencent, because the way China operates domestically and internationally is that so they force these companies to be extensions of their government. And they have actually reeled in some of these corporations when they might come too big, or when their CEOs might become too powerful. You hear it all the time when they occasionally get arrested and put into re-education camps because they don't want these companies to become like the American multinational, like Google, like all these tech companies, where they can affect policy, right? They want to keep everything under control. But I think the major concern is that China heavily censors uh, everything that comes, inside the country, and also everything within the country. So there have been games that were forced to change things, or even thrown off. There was, like, I think, a game that was thrown off GOG and Steam because it was critical of the Chinese government, right? So there are definitely concerns there that if they acquire a Western company, that company might have to comply with their laws, or their rules, that they can be critical to China. They can't say anything that's they don't like, which could also affect China, for example. Also doesn't like every time that there's a movie that's released in China, they have to cut out things like any mention of gay people, occult stuff they don't like, and probably a lot of other things that we take for granted that might not be allowed for China. And yeah, if that affects the creativity, if it affects the games you're gonna get, yeah, of course people are gonna be concerned about that. To be fair, in case of Ubisoft, I'm not a fan of their games anyway, so I'm for me personally that wouldn't be a loss, but and I to be fair, Ubisoft has a lot of issues on their own. So, as a company to work for, I don't think Tencent can make it a lot worse than it already is. But as for that influence on their games, that could be the issue. The question, of course, is how far will they actually enforce that? Because they have acquired, I think, numerous studios so far. They have bought in, shares or invested in other studios, and we don't know how far that actually has affected those games. Like maybe it hasn't. Maybe they're giving those studios that say, okay, yeah, as long as you're releasing it in the West, we don't interfere. But we don't know. I mean, they could also have directives that explicitly say, okay, yeah, you can't do this and this and this, and that could affect games from their inception, right? That could mean that that's things that, like, if they want to include a gay character, they can because China wouldn't like it. They can't be overly political. They can't be maybe a company cannot have like a Japanese hero, for example, because they don't like Japan, or there are so many things you can think of that could affect it. Now, to be fair, I've played a couple of games from the China Hero project. I actually was kind of surprised with some of these games that they could get away with some stuff where I said,
We
okay,
played
this
Fist.
might.
We played
Yeah,
Fist, and I think Fist had some homosexual character or lesbian character. I remember one of the side character.
I think Fist also might actually. The question is how you look at it, but because you could interpret it as actually being critical of China if you look at China as a totalitarian state, right? But if they don't see themselves that, and they think, okay, well, the enemy is actually representing imperialistic America, for example, then I can understand how they can get away with stuff like that. I think Fist probably get away with a lot of things because their characters are anthropomorphic animals, and they sort of they're not people, or not trying to represent people. So that's probably how they can get away with. I mean, that's how we even the Western cartoons, right? Like Animal Farm, like they can get away with a lot of stuff that even though they might seem like they're aimed at children because they're using cartoon animals, they have very heavy political stuff in there, right? That there's a lot of things that are metaphors or outright explicit, trying to tell you a political message or explain political systems or ideologies to you. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Would you consider the game that we played, the one with from China Hero Project as well, with what's called Cyberpunk? I forgot what its name. Do you remember it?
Anno Mutatonium?
Yeah, thank you. Anno Mutatonium. That game had lesbian characters. Main character is a lesbian. Furthermore, it had almost like a story that you can literally link it to the Chinese government, how it's controlling and overbearing and everything like that. And I'm trying to be open-minded and see, because everything you complain about, I have seen it exist in both games now. So is it maybe a case of
Well,
what?
the thing is with I agree with you that I at least I read some things into that. It's like,
So then
okay,
let me
I'm
ask you
actually
this then.
surprised they got away with this. But on the other hand, it kind of depends on how you sell that, because you can like with Alan Mutantonium, the story is quite confusing. So I'd say you could also argue that if they said, okay, yeah, the bad guy are supposed to represent yeah, United States, because that's obviously going to be the bad guy for China, right? Then they can get away with it. And maybe they actually intended to be critical of the Chinese government, but they could get away with that simply by not explicitly stating that, and maybe convincing any regulatory boards that no, it's not about China, right? Um, and with I don't think the main character was Lesbian. I think there was one of the side characters had sort of infatuation with her. Not sure if she reciprocated that, but yeah, the kind of thing there is also like they're playing that up as for laughs, right, and not necessarily have a very serious represented in a very serious way. So I kind of wonder, had they done that, would they have been able to get away with that?
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, I thought you was done. Continue.
No, I agree with you. There are things in there that I didn't think they could pull that off. So either that means that yeah, maybe we should take a step back and maybe wait and see how that turns out to be. But there have been cases of games
Yeah, I know.
explicitly having been pulled because of the critique on China. So
Yeah, cases of
there
racism also. I remember hearing that Tencent didn't want black people. I remember hearing that, so I understand your key point. But for
so,
me, yeah, for
so,
me, not to cut
yeah,
you off, because I genuinely want your opinion about what I'm about to say. For me, it feels for me that this was the old Tencent. The Tencent is now is being almost like uh, country friendly, so they can attract more people for, because China want to be very serious about the gaming what's called thing, because for a long time they didn't allow the sale of console. Now you have PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo being sold there, so I think you're gonna see, and this is not me defending Tencent, trust me. But it's just from, I played literally 2 games from them, and everything that you're complaining about, I didn't see it in both games, and maybe we're gonna see it
What game?
in. So I played Animatitium and I played what's called what's the name of that game? Fist.
You didn't see
And
what specifically in Anime Titanium, though?
okay, sorry.
What didn't you see specifically that he was talking about?
Okay, so he said um, that they would not put what's called homos and gays and stuff like that. They would not or be hesitant to include them or be censored or stuff like that. But the main character of Animatitium is a lesbian, and she.
well,
Well, yeah,
the
yeah. I was like, you
it
keep
was
saying
not.
that, and I was like, I didn't see that. Like I
Yeah.
What
saw
do you mean?
what Weeb said, that the girl is attracted to her, but she never, she literally just ignores that shit the entire time.
Yeah.
Dude, if you play at the very end, she is literally interacting with her in that way. Like, she sacrificed her life for her. That's not friendship.
I mean, you can interpret it that way. I will
It
give
feels
you
like,
that. Yes, but again, it's
even,
just not
yeah,
very that explicitly stated, and that I think that's probably the sort of the
exception.
not exception, but what they probably the allowance they have to get away with it as long as they're not explicitly confirming it. I think.
I think
Yeah.
for me, it really feels to me that Tencent or China was quote unquote the boogeyman, and they seen how booming the industry is, and they want to be a part of it, and
Well, I'm
they.
not gonna say they because it's a lot of motherfuckers in China about a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, I know,
So it's
but
not
I'm just
they.
talking. I'm talking about Tencent now. Uh, in
Yeah, but
order to
Tencent
be
has been a global company for over 10 years now.
yeah, but when was China this invested in video games? Again, not
So
so
again,
long.
China, the country is not.
But
China's developers are. China
yeah,
itself, like, has always been interested in gaming. They've just been allowed to come into the space further and be more globally pronounced. Like it's always been a thing, right? But the government is constantly trying to go against that type of shit, like constantly limiting playtime and a bunch of other shit they're always
yeah,
doing. Like so, yeah,
but
that's
not
why I
too
say
long ago
China,
they
the
allowed
country, is
for.
not necessarily for it.
But not too long ago they allowed for consoles to be sold now.
In
Not
the free market zone, for the record. They're
yeah,
only sold in one specific section.
okay, but still they're allowing it to be sold. So they're clearly seeing that there is money to make, and they
Yeah,
want to
but
be
it's
a
not
part
the
of
free
it.
market zone, for the record, is not just for that though. The free market zone is for a bunch of shit that doesn't get sold anywhere else.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
why I'm not gonna scream Boogeyman and stuff like that as of right now, and wait on their next project, and then see how it's going to be.
Well, they
Cause
don't. I mean, they don't have direct interference with a lot of stuff all the time, right? Like, I mean, they own like some of the most ridiculously profitable mobile companies, right? But they don't like mess with them. They just want to own them so they can gain the profit. So they don't necessarily always do something specifically, or you even know that it's even inherently from them that's why that's done. So that's what I'm saying. Like in the AAA space, it's they haven't been as prevalent. So this would be like a major hit all of a sudden to kind of see what they would do going forward.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
and it
wait
would
and
be
see.
pretty obvious. Yeah,
And Ghost corrected you
I saw what
apparently.
he said.
Okay, so what your
I
take on
mean,
that?
but see, that's what I'm saying. It's still being forced, right? I say it's a hostile takeover because they, in particular, stated it that way. The CEO of the company called it that because he called it hostile in regards to the fact that they don't want to be sold. You see what I'm saying? So they are forcing it regardless, which is why he referred to it as a hostile takeover.
So
That might not be the textbook definition, but that is what Guillermo or whatever called it when Tencent was forced buying the shares with basically without intent to sell.
okay, we wait.
Yeah.
And do you think that this is going to be the only publisher, or do you think they're gonna go after other publishers?
Oh,
Uh,
also, I got you here. So the textbook's definition for hostile takeover is what Guillermo said. It's another company's attempt to take over a company against the management's wishes. So Guillermo, meaning the CEO of the company, does not want the company to be taken over by that company. So it is a hostile takeover. So what I said was accurate.
and he can't prevent it.
I mean, they've been preventing it, but like the problem is when it's separated among all these shareholders. If he is not, the whole idea, what they were going to do to prevent it, right? Which apparently they just didn't do it fast enough, was try to get his family. I guess his family has money in general, right? Not just him being CEO or whatever for Ubisoft. Was to
Yes,
basically get them,
family company.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the family to basically diversify that among themselves enough so that they are the majority shareholder and they would not sell in that case. So then they could prevent the hostile takeover. That's what they were going to do, but apparently that shit did not work. Yeah.
So the sale for what's called Ubisoft is definitely imminent.
I mean, it's looking like it, but I mean, there could be a number of other things. I mean, they could have discussions behind closed doors and be like, look, man, this is not, we don't want this or this. We just want this. You never know, right? Like the same reason why people keep guessing why something's exclusive and why it's not exclusive. Like it may seem like they want the full thing, but maybe they can come to an agreement where they don't take over the operational management of the company, or you just never know, right? Because the intent of both sides have to be clear. You know that it's got to be on paper, and really kind of see what's what, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I mean, obviously, if they go all the way, then yeah, I think we're gonna see some changes. But I mean, honestly, you just don't want to fuck up the thing that you wanted to buy, right? Like you don't say you wanted to buy a Ferrari and then you put a Honda kit on it and be like, yeah, now it looks like a Honda. No, you wanted a Ferrari. That's what you bought. Like, so like, don't buy it and then fuck it up immediately. So that's why I said like they may do some stuff and some stuff on the back end, but I mean, from what it seems, Tencent really likes what they see in what Ubisoft is doing. Now, if they start to move vastly differently after the acquisition takes place, if that's what happens, then it'll be very apparent what Tencent is doing.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be interesting.
The FTC can do nothing about it?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, they got to have a reason to scrutinize it to begin with. Like, why wouldn't Tencent be able to, right? So, like, the big difference with, like, Microsoft versus Tencent is, like, a third-party company. It's the same reason why, like, the Embracer Group has, like, half the planet. Because they're there to get money from everyone, right? They're going to put everything out everywhere as possible. They're for competition, right? Like they want everybody to get all their products. Microsoft is definitely not that type of company. So like it'd be hard pressed to have a reason to be like, look, this is, we're going to take this company over one way or another. But essentially once you're a majority shareholder, depending on how much they, usually it's over 50%. You can at least have enough direction in the company where even if you don't take it over entirely, you're not the CEO or whatever, you can eventually slowly vote and push people out, even though the company on paper is still not under Tencent. You see what I'm saying? So they'll just force out enough people until basically they agree. And then they're like, no, we definitely, then, Ubisoft's tune will be way different. And they're like, yeah, we definitely want to be owned by Tencent. We love those guys. Like it's very weird. It's a bunch of backdoor business bullshit, but yeah.
Well, to be fair, them being a third party doesn't necessarily preclude them from being scrutinized by regulatory bodies, because you can still get a monopoly position if you buy all developers, or at least have like a monopoly position or near monopoly position in the market. So they could still be, if they're too big, even as a third party, the deal could still be blocked.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree, but I personally don't think they are where they are now. So,
well, yeah, in terms of revenue, they definitely could be, but in terms of owning developers and publishers, yeah, I mean, if they buy Ubisoft, that probably wouldn't be blocked for any monopoly or oligopoly reasons. No.
Gotcha. Morgan.
I mean, as someone who hasn't been happy with Ubisoft in particular for like the past 8 years.
Are you a fan of the franchise?
Not anymore. So,
what
I mean...
did you used to like?
I mean, I like the Assassin's Creed. Once they started adding even before they started adding the RPG elements into it, I think I fell off at like the Brotherhood. Like it just, like it just started. No,
Damn.
Brotherhood was good. It was after Brotherhood. I just kind of started falling off. I was just
Revelation, I think. Then, I think Revelation was the final one for you. That's interesting. I was expecting you to say something like what's called Odyssey or Origin or something like that.
No, I mean they were okay, but they weren't what I love. Like I played them, but they weren't the Assassin's Creed that I liked.
Okay.
But yeah, as someone who isn't a fan, I personally do not care about their cries of, you know, hostile takeover. I don't give a shit. I hope Tencent buys them because I hope this man Guillermo, whatever the fuck his name is, I hope it breaks his little heart that Tencent buys their company. I don't care. Asshole company A wants to buy asshole company B. I don't care. It's all good to me. They can have them. They do what they want with them. They can scrap Assassin's Creed. They can bring out some new shit. Make a live service game that's ass. Well, they've already been doing that, but I don't care.
You ever played Immortal Phoenix Rising?
No.
Give it a try. It's very fun.
No. People said it was like Breath of the Wild, and I don't like Breath of the Wild. I've tried with Breath of the Wild, and it wasn't my thing.
It's Breath of the Wild, but better. Way better.
That's still Breath of the Wild.
That's still Breath of the Wild.
Okay, fair. Okay, gotcha. Viper.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with Morgan, and around I like Black Flag, but after Black Flag, I was like, eh. I played Unity, I played Origins, I played all of it. Odyssey, all of it. I have not played Immortals Phoenix Rising. I know that's different, and I will. Backlog. We know how that goes. Let's put it this way. So Tencent is into those guys, right? To me, honestly, that might be the best course of action for them, because what's the alternative? I know we all would like for them to stay independent. Well, everybody but Morgan, but I know most of us like for them to stay independent. But would you rather Nintendo grab them? Would you rather Sony grab them? Would you rather hell no to Xbox? You know, because they'll be going down the tube anyway.
But they
what's
don't want to sell though. They don't want to sell. They want to stay independent. You get me?
Yeah, I get you, but that's what I'm saying. There's nothing we can do. I can't go over there and be like, "Hey, free my man." I can't do that.
Okay, hold up. So, Jubei is saying Tencent is building a monopoly. When would you be considered a monopoly then? I'm curious. How many studios do you need to own before considered a monopoly?
Wait, how can you collect shit and become like literal shit, like poop, and become a monopoly? Don't you need good stuff in order to become a monopoly?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys. Cause
unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, as stated, they want to be independent. If they're being taken over, I guess I take the stance of I don't care, because I stopped liking their games a little while ago.
Gotcha. Okay. For me, it's something that Ghost in Garage Gaming that said that made it interesting for me. So he said, I really think Tencent is going to make their own console or making their own subscription service, which prompted me to remember this week disaster when it comes to subscription services. I don't know if you guys have heard, but apparently Netflix scrapped an entire Batman movie. Batgirl movie that was literally
HBO Max.
Yeah. Oh, but HBO Max or sorry, because Netflix did something and HBO did something else. So HBO Max scrapped an entire Batgirl movie that was literally almost done, and they lost million or billions on that. And other than that, Netflix, it had one of their best new series get cancelled after just season 1, First Kill. So clearly subscription services are not doing it, because First Kill was ranked high, like 4th or something like that, and it did great numbers, and it still got cancelled. So, and HBO Max what's called joint discover, uh, merged with Discovery Channel, right?
Yeah,
Or just
Discovery Plus.
yeah, Discovery Plus. So, and then they announced that they're not gonna have either anime or cartoon on their
Yeah, they're
show.
cutting back on their animations. Like I think over like 70 or 80% of their animation department or some shit like that.
Dude, so my question to you, Ghost, is with Tencent seeing this happening, do you truly believe they're gonna release their own subscription service? Their own console, they might, but they need to compete with the PlayStation 5 and Series X. And so far, no company have ever done so. I'm gonna ask, what's called, Anace? What do you believe?
Yeah, I mean, I believe Tencent would be a fucking idiot to try and come out with their own console. Like it's just not worth it. Like there's so much to that. Like it's the whole reason why like Stadia failed essentially, right? I mean, obviously there are a number of other factors in that, but you you have to get people to even, you have to be ready to lose an unimaginable amount of money to begin with R&D, and then you have to be ready to lose even more when you put this product out in droves and the large majority of people don't get it or just sit on it or use it as a novelty and you have no attach rate, and then you have to convince all these third party other companies to invest in it now on top of all these other established brands as well. It's not, the market is not open for a fight. Like it's not something you can just, at least not traditionally, right? Like you can't just come in and just drop another box and everybody's about to go out and spend $500-600 and go crazy. And I mean the same thing for streaming. Streaming is a massive limitation, and I don't, whatever the disconnect or whatever is for people in the United States who are a bunch of idiots who know nothing about how bad the United States infrastructure is, or a large, and I mean a large portion of Americans that don't have internet that can even stream Netflix in 4K. Like it's that bad. So never mind gaming and HDR and all this other shit. So that wouldn't even really be viable, and it would be up to the dangers that Stadia and the rest of this stuff is always. So no, I mean I think they would, that would be a ridiculous notion, regardless of how much money they make. I think if anything, all they would really do is get Ubisoft to make some more fucking mobile games, because that's what Tencent loves, because that's where they know a bunch of the clowns are. We're going to spend ridiculous amounts of money, the way they do on Clash of Clans and all this other dumb shit that Tencent owns. So I think they're honestly just looking to capitalize on the mass amount of developers they have. But again, I still think personally, regardless of all that shit could backfire, because one of the things that people always forget whenever we have these acquisition discussions is who's going to leave when you acquire this company, depending on what you do. If you go in and like alter this culture and try to force people to do a bunch of shit they don't want to do, you're essentially going to lose the company you bought. So yeah, I think they would be absolute idiots to try anything even remotely close to that,
Gotcha.
unless they had
So-
some new mind-blowing thing that's just going to usurp all consoles on the market right now and go crazy, which I don't think they can do.
Morgan?
That's another thing. Hold on. That's another thing, Omar. They could consider it a hostile takeover, but I mean, if everybody quits, what are they really getting? I'm glad Nate brought up that point. They're not getting the same company they had before.
Which
Yep.
is what people brought up the exact same point with Activision, I think.
Yeah, they did, and that's a very real problem for them still. It constantly keeps happening while this stuff is happening. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to lose it like enough to be like fearful, but I mean, we're still hearing that they were like, "Ooh, we formed the first union," and then or whatever, and then like 5 minutes later, there's another story that's like, "Oh, they hired people to like break up the union." like like the politics inside that company are still such a mess that if this shit even happens, I don't even want to know what the internal mechanisms of this studio look like.
Okay, I want to still continue this conversation, but I truly want to hear Morgan's opinion because she needs to leave. So Morgan, give me your opinion about this, and then I'm gonna directly ask you the follow-up question, which is the whole Square Enix stuff.
So your original question was, what if Tencent like made a console?
So do you think Tencent Endgame is making a console for itself or a streaming service?
I would pray to God that they weren't making a console, because that honestly it would fail immensely. Like it's like what Anae said. Like, what exactly are you offering the market with a home console that is not already provided? What would make people spend $5, $6, I don't know, maybe if you do a low end console, $200-$300 to jump into a new ecosystem, away from their friends, away from familiar UI, away from like just familiarity in general, to hop into something brand new, untested, and just spend this money and be away from what you know. Like that doesn't make sense. Like that's why when Google came through, even though that shit is failing like drastically with Stadia, they didn't really come in with a console. They came in with like a streaming device, basically. Like, so it wouldn't be at least a huge investment away from what you already have. Like, I don't know, I think it was like what, $50-$60 or something. But it's just like there's no room in this market right now for a new console, because there's nothing that you could offer that honestly I would think that you could separate from Xbox or PlayStation. Like what would you have, or Switch? What would, I don't understand what exactly you would bring in. Maybe they could do a subscription service. You know, they could offer I guess a Game Pass like model where you pay a monthly price and you get all these games that Tencent owns day one, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they do more of a PlayStation thing where they wait and then you get it. I don't know. But hell no with a console. Like like the money that they would spend, like they say with R&D, it would just be a huge loss. They'd end up losing more than they would gain. So if anything, a subscription model. But even I don't think I'd subscribe to that personally.
Okay, and the final topic for you would be Square Enix reportedly confirmed it's looking to sell stakes in its studios and concentrate resources on Japanese games. Do you see them being sold by PlayStation, Nintendo, or Microsoft? Who do you think buying them?
I mean, I would hope it was PlayStation. PlayStation, with this new, I mean, I'm sure PlayStation knew ahead of time that Square was doing this. I mean, they're very close, so I'm sure they've had talks about it and stuff. And I would hope that Jim Ryan was smart enough to be like, this is a area that is synonymous with PlayStation, and it's something that especially with a time like this where you have all these companies like Tencent and Microsoft trying to buy up everything, they would be smart enough to be like, all right, let's lock in this relationship that we've had with Square Enix forever. Let's finally put a ring on it and lock it down and, bring them into the fold. Like, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, so why not? So, I mean, they better before somebody else does, is what all I have to say about that.
Okay, and the final one for you. Square Enix feared Western studios cannibalize sales of Japanese games. How stupid is that?
Wait, say that again?
Square Enix feared Western studios of their own cannibalized sales of Japanese games.
You said they feared that the Western studios cannibalized sales for their Japanese games?
Yep. How stupid is that?
I don't. Yeah, that's kind of stupid, because I mean, those are two different markets, and like, no, well, not necessarily, but I don't think those conflicted with each other. So I don't really see how they feared one would monopolize or cannibalize over the other. I just think Square realized that their priority isn't Western games, and they're not the best at making them. So They should just let somebody else do it and stick to.
They made a few good ones, though.
Yeah, they made a few good ones, like a few, but I think they realize where their strength lies, and it's not in the Western Division. And I don't think it's because they're incapable. I think they just don't put enough priority into their Western. They hold it like they have weird standards for their Western divisions, and they don't give them necessarily the tools and supplies and the marketing that they need for them to succeed. So, I mean, you might as well cut it loose if you're not going to put enough work into it. So,
gotcha. Well, thank you for coming through. Let people where they can find you, because I know you need to leave, right?
I said I'm not leaving yet, Omar. I said 7, not 6.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had 1 hour left. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good.
Then I'm gonna go back to the previous topic, which Tencent. Do you think they're gonna either create their own console or start their own subscription service?
Console, no. I don't see them willing to make the investment unless they're really stupid. But I've seen how others have tried and failed. Subscription service, probably, definitely. I think that's probably the end game there. If they acquire Ubisoft, they probably want to make their own competing subscription service and just say, yeah, if you want to have all the games, you also get a buy our subscription service. I mean, whether that's going to have a future, I mean, we already see the fallout that the TV and movie subscription services have. I mean, I'd say that this is sort of a bubble that at some point is going to burst, and we're going to see. We're already seeing the result there, but we're going to see companies, realizing, okay, this is not going to make us, the money we're hoping. So we're going to, try to ease our way out of this. Which is why you're seeing them merging subscription services and sort of cutting back on things. Which, I mean, especially if like Warner Bros. When they're cutting back on their animation, which is actually the best thing they have, but oh well. So again, no console subscription service. I'd say that they're definitely going to try to get into that, at least until it collapses.
Okay. If anyone can now explain to me if my idea would work or not, how hard is it to penetrate the gaming market? What I mean by that is, Stadia tried but failed. But let's be real, Stadia was destined to fail because Stadia was ahead of time. Like, internet is not good for most of the countries. But I mean, now, yeah, we want to say
you kind of answered your question. Yes,
but I have a different way than for asking what to ask. I have yet to ask that or say what I think could be done. Okay, so there's a rumor that Apple wants to make their own console. Remember that rumor? Now,
I mean, there's a rumor for Apple to do everything.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that there's going to be a TV from Apple, and that's been going for like the last 8 years. Okay, so then my question for you as follow is, how hard is it to hit an ex-developer? And I'm talking the real good one. Because, Apple got money galore. So how hard is it for them to look for legit console developers, like for example, like a person like Mark Cerny, not per se Mark Cerny, but someone on his level. Even if that person is retired, if you throw enough money, they will join. So part of your problem, right, is there's just not enough of the people you're talking about, right?
Really?
This is why the struggle is happening right now, the way it is with Microsoft trying to buy the established devs, because it doesn't matter how much money they have. Like these people are essentially tied up in what's on the market already. Either they're indie, they are working for a major developer already, and that's it, right? Like, yeah, you'll get new talents that come out every now and then, but you're talking about people who got to work their way up and get experience and all these things and so on and so forth, right? So it's actually a lot more rare to have these people, and you can't just specifically snatch these people up, right? Um, and despite, yeah, Apple has a lot of money, but how I know it seems like infinite money when you think about it, because every time they release an Apple iPhone or something, it goes crazy, and they have a ridiculous market share, right? But you don't, from a business standpoint, you don't want to look to bleed so much money that it just looks silly. Like,
Hello, Microsoft says hi. How are
I
you
mean,
doing?
but
We're
that's
doing
not
it.
silly for them though. They're $1 trillion company. Like that, they know that investment will come back. Like Activision Blizzard is a multi-billion-dollar company. Year over year, microtransactions, all that that regardless, that money's coming back. They're not bleeding it, right? That's a calculated purchase for an already established product. Apple has no established product in that ring. Apple's one claim to fame in gaming is Apple Arcade, right? That's where their stuff is curated. Like, so when you're talking about it, like, you're probably going to see something like that, and you're probably going to see them come out with a box, that allows access to that in the way that Apple TV pretty much already does, the Apple TV actual product. Um, and you might see, them gain some developers to develop for that, or go on and go from there, and they may even incorporate some sort of streaming service or something. But like, I still don't even think Apple would full force try to come in, because like I said, it's just not there, and a lot of these people are not going to sacrifice their positions or their contracts, and like it just there's so many caveats to it, right? It sounds like, hey, if I gave everyone $1 million to just come work for me, um it sounds like everybody would jump ship, but like there's more to it than that, right? Remember I was saying, like, money only means X amount to you because you need it, right? But if you already own your own home, and you already make 180 grand a year, or whatever the fuck you make, 6 figures plus, like why sacrifice something you're enjoying working on? Like, these are other things that people don't take into consideration when you're talking about developers, right? Passion projects. The large majority of people um haven't left Bethesda, right? The developer, not all the rest of them motherfuckers underneath the publisher. The dev, though, most of the motherfuckers have been there since I was in high school, because they develop the Elder Scrolls, the Fallout series. These things these people are extraordinarily passionate about, and this company has paid dividends to them for it. Like, they're not gonna up and just leave because Apple's like, I'm gonna pay you some insane amount of money. Now, yeah, I'm not saying you're not gonna get some people, but it may not be for the right reasons. They could end up cannibalizing everything and just fucking it up the way Microsoft has done for the past fucking decade, where they do got the astronomical amount of money, even they're just wasting it because their management is ass and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So you end up with projects like Halo Infinite, which are a mess. Like, so this is what I'm saying. And this is one thing that Apple typically does not do. Apple does not typically jump into something messy, right? They've already got a clear cut plan. You know what's coming. You know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do something. They're not gonna really step into something unless they're gonna be at the top of whatever that is, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the one thing I'll give Apple, and I don't even like Apple, but this is what they do. This is their strategy. I truly believe once they reveal their AR/VR, whatever shit they're working on, it's probably going to be insane. It's probably going to just beat the shit out of everything on the market, because I know that Apple doesn't release something unless they feel that that is how that product will be perceived, right? Um, when the iPad got revealed on top of everything else, the iPad, regardless of whatever people think, has pretty much been the number one tablet, period, in the world, like, since it's released. Um, like they just don't do something like a half step or a half measure. So, they could, but like you said, that their biggest problem right now, right, is with breaking into the market the way that it is currently, is that everything's just too tied up. Like the amount of money you would have to spend you'd be spending for a maybe, right? And the reason I say that is because even if you could purchase, let's say everyone was for sale, you put together the dream team, you could put together 5 or 6 dream teams and go, this is us, right? Now you can't. Now you got to realize you can't do that to the point where you fuck up the rest of the market, because guess what you need? You need the third parties, you need the Call of Duties, you need the FIFAs, you need all these other things. So you can't bleed everyone from all these other companies either to do that. You see how much you could fuck up the market? You see what I'm saying? Like, even if you had the money, like, there's certain things you just got to be careful in how you move and how you conduct business. In
So
that
Apple
regard.
is better off buying someone like the Sony and owning them PlayStation. If they were truly, I don't know if they can buy Sony, but I'm just talking.
I just don't particularly see them ever being serious
Why
about
not? Why?
console level gaming.
It makes them
Like,
a lot of money. It would make them a lot of money.
I mean, but I don't think so, because Apple people don't play games. Like, that's
Nah,
just what it is.
I disagree with that.
I'm not talking
'Cause
about mobile niggas. I'm not talking about mobile niggas, because mobile niggas is not about to sit in front of their TV and play
What
games.
IPs would convince somebody to buy an Apple console? Like,
I mean,
the only people that I know who would buy an Apple console are the Apple hardcore fans, people who buy everything Apple, and that's not that many people. Like, it's not enough to be like a market competitor.
Yeah. Like, not to mention, like, Apple, those type of people admit, right? Like, I was looking at a thread over something about Apple recently, and this person just admitted, like, yo, I had, he bought 2 of the Apple home speakers or whatever, and he was like, yeah, I realized they weren't doing shit, so I linked them up to my TV for, like, Atmos or some shit. Like, or, like, Dolby Sound or something. Like, is like, that, they buy this stuff, but, like, you're talking about attach rates, you're talking about, you can't fuck up the rest of the market. Like, it's very, very, it has to be very subtle, right? And the space has to be open. That's the key, right? The space is so tight right now, ain't nobody trying to let you in. Like, it's like imagine trying to get to the best defense in the NFL and trying to run the ball right up the middle. They are going to kill you and squeeze you out before you even think about even getting past the line. Like, it's not open.
I was
But yeah,
thinking like this. What if Apple buys Square Enix? And do you know
for
how?
what though?
Let
And
me
play it on what?
let me continue, and then tell what's called let's say Final Fantasy. It's for the highest bidder, whether it's Microsoft, Nintendo, or Sony. Whoever wants Final Fantasy on their console need to pay Apple some of money.
Yeah, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, purchase them and do what? Alienate the rest of the market?
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, like you got to be careful about business. Is you don't want to piss off the consumer, right? Like,
Let me buy
Apple,
this and just hold it hostage.
yeah, exactly. Like people are just gonna be mad at that point.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, so yeah, and make no mistake, like that doesn't just apply to them, right? That applies to all this current shit happening, right? Microsoft is not talking a lot of shit, despite that nonsense they wrote in that report, because obviously they want the sale to go through. But, like, make no mistake, the reason why they're saying all the dumb shit they're saying, like, hey, we're never going to take it away from them, it's not a big deal if we own it and all this other shit, because they know that saying anything else is just going to piss a shit ton of people off. Like, it's just,
and if they do end up taking it off and piss people off, what then? The deal.
Yeah, but then what did you buy it for? If ultimately you start losing people, number one, what are you even going to put it on? Apple doesn't even have a product to put it on. You see what I'm saying?
So they just buy it just to have it.
I switched now to Microsoft deal. Because Microsoft, and I didn't cover this because Microsoft have been saying some stupid shit that's easily debunkable. Is that not a lie?
It's
And
very obviously a lie, but
no,
their
but
hope is
so
that these people are too ignorant to know or understand the value of the perceived products that they are judging.
that's stupid though. You're talking about the FTC. Shouldn't they, do their business and do their
Well, yeah, I mean,
research?
in America, you know what I'm saying, like they're going to know what's up, right? Those franchises are huge here. They're hoping, I mean, honestly, they're insulting these people and these people's intelligence,
Precisely.
to be honest.
Is that not enough reason to not make the deal go through? Because you're literally lying in court.
And this deal is going through. All right, like it's going through, Omar.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna tell you
know.
the truth. When you talk about the money you were talking about earlier, this is where the money
Like
matters.
all these formalities and committee
Yeah.
meetings and stuff. Like this deal's going through.
Yeah, all this hardball is about the money, right?
Yeah,
Eventually,
it's they're all playing a part. Like it's just like they
Yeah.
got to seem like they're being hard on Microsoft and doing their due diligence, but this shit's going through. Like the right hands have already been greased. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this deal's happening.
Like, look, Tim. I know you and the
It's
kids.
like
have been eyeing that
we got to
beach
make it look good. All right, we got to make it
Yeah.
look like
Just
we're really coming down on you guys. All right, we got to give you the hardball. Like we're questioning you in the interrogation room, putting that pressure on you. All right.
Yeah.
But it's going through.
And
But
there's
if
that
it, but
offshore
what I
bank
don't
account that you
understand
always
is
wanted.
this. What I don't understand this. If it's already going through, why the fuck make yourself look stupid then?
I mean, it's just
Because it's about the dance, Omar. It's all about the dance.
Yeah, like you got to do the it's the waltz, right? You got to go in there and you got to do it this way, and it's over, But it's just how it goes.
This is how it's how the business goes.
Yeah, it's like lobbying, right? Like lobbying, like everybody knows when like a new law is coming out, and we're like, fuck, because we know we're about to get fucked, and it's like they're like we oppose this and this and that, and they make it look all crazy, but we're like Americans are already preparing because they're like, this is gonna fuck us.
Now, except for me, when you say something like we're not gonna take it off other platforms, and if you then go ahead and do that, that's literally a breach of contract.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to, at least not now, to go back on that. Like they're gonna keep it multi-platform.
Breach of what contract? Breach of what contract?
Yeah, right now they just run in their mouth. Is what they do.
I mean, even if they sat down and wrote a contract, I guarantee you that language won't be in there where they say they're going to leave it on all platforms. They're going to leave it up to conspicuous ambiguity, so you can,
which is what
try
they've been
and
doing
figure out
so
what
far.
it means. Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it on there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I'll say as for now, it's going to be multi-platform, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, what is the foreseeable future though? Like
I'm
that's up to
interested to see.
Can't foresee 2027, so you never know.
I'm interested to see if Microsoft pull up Call of Duty out of PlayStation. Will PlayStation then pull up Destiny out of my Xbox? That's going to be very interesting.
I don't know, but I don't think it would have the exact same impact though.
Real talk. Destiny 2 have more buzz around it than Call of Duty.
Listen, I get it. Destiny's big. Destiny has its fan base, but I don't think it's not as big as Call of Duty though.
That in fact is a lie, Omar. That is not true. And I hate Call of Duty.
Yeah,
dude, Activision said that they lost 80% of the.
It's the highest selling game on PlayStation. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely not
Destiny. You gotta keep in mind, right, Omar? It's split now, right? That loss they were talking about is when they fucked up Warzone, right? So you got a large user base of free-to-play people, and then there's still Call of Duty, like the $80 game, right? Like, so there are two different things. So a lot of that fan base they lost was when they fucked up Warzone, which is free-to-play. And the free-to-play market is super fickle, so that makes perfect sense.
I'm genuinely curious if PlayStation is going to do that. Like, for
I mean, they
example.
could, but like I said, it wouldn't be a blow for blow though. It
Yeah,
kind of hurt, but
yeah, PlayStation is preparing to go, toe
Beyond
to
Call of
toe,
Duty.
right?
Outside of
Yeah.
Call of
They're
Duty.
they're
Yeah.
trying to prepare to go beyond it, but like, for the current foreseeable future, as in this generation and maybe the start of the next, they are trying to secure that for right now, because that gives them enough time to build up another brand, for the ebb and flow to change. I mean,
yeah.
we're
But
seeing for the first time ever.
Where all these live services come into play,
They
they're like, all
already-
right, we gotta do something.
They already
Exactly,
tried
like-
it. They already tried it with Killzone and it failed. I didn't play
Well, no,
Killzone,
but that wasn't ever actually the killer, right? That was just a FPS. Like, people labeled it that. That's not what they said.
Yeah, that wasn't. I don't think that was Guerrilla's intention whatsoever.
Yeah, they were just making a game. Like, so the key though here, Omar, right? One of the things that people never thought would die, right, was World of Warcraft. It was the unkillable MMO giant,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And now, gradually, year over year, that game has constantly lost people. I'm not saying they're dying, like, they're still profitable, because, I mean, it costs nothing for them to essentially run that shit anymore. But, like, now we live to see WoW be, drop to even the third, fourth, or fifth level, subscriber base.
Wait, WoW is not second? I thought FF...
No, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't come back up. I'm saying, but they did drop, like, when the controversy was, like, really fire, like, when all the allegations came out and all that other shit, they lost an insane amount of subs.
Not only that, Final Fantasy have been doing so good that they gained a lot of sub.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 14 did so good that they temporarily had to suspend purchasing of new accounts, because they couldn't build servers fast enough to make the game stable. That's the kind of success you want.
And that's number one right now, if I'm correct.
It is absolutely still number one. It's insane, and it's even getting crazier. And that's with it not being on Xbox. Which, by the way, this is why I said people underestimate how important these other deals are that they don't mess with. Right? I saw someone purchase a PS5 the other day. I posted it in our chat, and she purchased the PS5 largely with the only intention currently to play Final Fantasy 14. She was
Really?
already playing it. Yeah.
Tell
People
me,
were like, "What are you gonna play?" And she
tell
was
me
like,
the
"Oh,
clip.
right now only Final Fantasy 14."
Tell me the DM. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll find it. But yeah, she just got a PS5. She got the bundle, in fact, with Horizon.
Damn.
And her only intent right now is to play Final Fantasy 14.
System seller.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense for PlayStation to pick them up. But
People underestimate these things. Yeah, and just like Persona, right? Persona, like, people like act like losing some of these things. Like, I don't think Yakuza was ever that crazy of it, but it was still a factor in, hey, this is only on PlayStation. It was another notch on the belt. This is only there. This is only there. There were so many games that were only there. And yeah, the few Xbox hardcore fans that are like, oh, these games don't matter, to me. And it's like, yeah, that's cute. But, the other 70 million people out there were like, nah, I want all that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The key
yeah.
question is going to be, is Persona 6 going to be PlayStation only or exclusive or multi-plat?
Mm-hmm. They better hope it is.
What do you think?
I can see it being multi-plat.
I believe it's going to be multi-plat. Yeah, I believe it so as well.
Yeah.
Especially after that move, Persona to Xbox and stuff like that. I think PlayStation is gonna focus on Square. I think they're going to be the bread and butter for Japan.
I mean, as long as PlayStation keeps Square going in the direction they're heading,
yep,
they could do wonders.
Yep.
Completely refocusing.
And now we're gonna get the Live Alive.
Let them do what they do. Give them the money and the resources they need, and just let them do what they do.
Let them go crazy. Bring back Parasite Eve. Go nuts.
Just remove the fucking NFT debacle.
Oh yeah, get rid of that entirely.
I want my Terra Nigma remastered.
let them make a Legend of Dragon remake on the level of
Man,
Final
people
Fantasy
would go
VII
crazy.
remake.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is a great conversation. Really wish Ghost was here, but he is outside the
We're not
country,
enough. We're not enough for
and
Omar right now. Oh
and
man,
his internet is not that good.
he said we don't matter. Oh man,
Damn, I just said this was a great conversation that we're having.
he's
Am
like it
I,
would be
but
better though
but
if
am
Ghost was
I? I
here.
just said I
Honestly,
just
Mark,
wish
Mark,
Ghost was here, so he can add his own take to it.
we're never good
Oh,
enough for Omar.
we're never good enough for
Damn,
Omar.
lady, I don't know
I'm
what to
weeping
tell
right
you.
now.
You don't feel appreciated? Hey, I'm sorry.
Damn.
The next topic is going to be especially Square, like what Square move gonna be and who is gonna purchase them. I'm gonna start with Weeb. Oh no, Morgan, cause
Oh damn.
hey, don't you?
Damn.
Cause
Yes,
I
Omar. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you.
oh no, you already gave us your opinion set. So Weeb it is
Oh yeah,
then.
I did. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry about that, Morgan.
Are you good?
Morgan gets to give her opinion twice before I get my turn.
Oh
See what
man,
I did?
Weeb
we did you
guy.
wrong, Weed.
Uh, opinion about Square getting bought by Sony? What do you want
Well,
to know?
opinion that Square is open for business now. They really want to sell their stuff.
Well,
And
yeah, technically they're not saying they want to be bought, but they want to focus indeed on their Japanese game development and I guess sell anything that's a distraction of that. Um, but yeah, there's definitely something. I mean, they're not gonna outright admit that they want to be bought. So I don't think any company wants to really be bought, but I'd say we still have there's a chance indeed that they might be in talks with Sony to getting bought, but it kind of depends on either how well they're doing without their Western studios, so they're going to focus on their own development. Is their sustainability strong enough for this company to continue being independent? And what are the threats from outside? Like, is there a chance that they're going to be bought, or their shares going to be bought by other companies? So yeah, it kind of depends on the direction the industry is going, because we do see a lot of consolidation. So obviously, it makes sense to speculate that they might want to be bought, or that they at least say, okay, if we're going to be bought, we want it to be somebody who we know, like Sony, and don't want to be, bought by, a foreign company, if at all that's possible. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that's gonna happen, because again, it could be purely a strategy for them. Okay, yeah, let's make ourselves let's focus. Let's get rid of anything that might make us vulnerable for a takeover. But it works either way, right? I mean, they can also divest and say, okay, yeah, we're smaller now, so it's easier to make it more attractive. We can work on our profitability, and that's a point where you could sell your company. But yeah, I think they're already publicly traded anyway, so it's just a matter of you know if anybody actually wants to buy them, and they could try that. But yeah, I mean, as for the direction they're going, I'd say their Japanese games generally are, I've always been the strongest suited. So I'm not that per se that they sold their studios in the West. As Morgan said, they generally have a way of putting strange demands on those studios, which you don't generally see on their own Japanese studios, like ridiculous ideas of monetizing their games. Like with DSX, they split up the sequel, or they intended to split it up to make a third game, so they could sell 2 games for the development cost of 1, and then they never made the third part, so you were left with essentially half a game. And all their franchise they're never really using, like the Legacy of Kain franchise, which obviously I hope it's gonna get a proper sequel or some sort, because that franchise is too good to just leave there. But hopefully it will be done justice. I mean, ideally somebody should hire Amy Hennig and say, look, make another entry in the series and sort of wrap up the story as it was intended. But that's probably idle hope. I'm being realistic here. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but we can still hope. But yeah, I mean, what else is there to say?
So is it finally gonna happen, PlayStation buying Square? Or you don't see it ever happen? Because remember, if PlayStation buys Square, I don't think they're gonna disconnect Nintendo from their what's called.
No, of course not. I mean, they're gonna. Let's say I'm sort of 50-50 on it at the moment, because again, you can look at you can interpret their actions in either way, right? Either it's a defensive mechanism or it's a way to make it easier for Sony to acquire them. Okay. I assume we can still keep on talking, Omar?
Yeah, go ahead, Viper. Give us your thoughts.
All right.
Well, I, for one, think that Square Enix is on the chopping block, along with Deviation Games, which is a little bit more obvious in being acquired. And I don't think that you're right. I don't think they will remove games from Switch, so to speak. But you best believe PlayStation gonna be like, "Hey, you gonna put that over here? You know you're not getting away without putting that over here, right?" I think that's what it is. Whatever Switch or whatever PC may get will be also coming to PlayStation all the time, I believe. That's all I got on that one. Can anybody hear me?
We heard you. Sorry about that. I was feeding my kitten. Innate.
I thought I spoke on that.
Sorry?
Did I not?
What do you think they're gonna buy them, or do you think some red herring will happen? Because for me, I remember.
I put it this way: if someone's gonna get them, I think it's gonna be Sony.
But for me,
will they sell? That's the other question. Or can they sell?
But what's taking so long? Because remember, and I will always go back to this because he is credible. The dude from Kinda Funny, Greg Miller. He had information
a lot of people have said it.
They bought them. So what's the holdup? Is it because they got?
I mean, largely, isn't it known that the Japanese thing buying and purchasing a Japanese company was already complicated?
Yeah, but is it maybe because they just bought Bungie and they're afraid of the FTC?
I don't think so. I just think it's more complicated.
So then, what they're waiting on?
We don't
strategy.
know.
You gotta wait, Omar. Everything Sony does has a reason. They wait for they announce news at certain times. They don't just sign a contract and they're like, all right, let's talk about it. Like they always have a plan at the way they market their things. Like just because we want the news right now doesn't mean they necessarily want to share. Like
I'd say it's all of the above. I mean, yeah, they want to save that for when they,
what if they announce it in the showcase? Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but
So,
yeah, I mean, I'd say it's all of the above because yes, of course, the FTC that's a thing that they might hold off on announcing it until their deal with Bungie was completed. But they're also obviously will have the right time if assuming that they actually bought Square. And you see, Square has divested their Western studios there. It's also possible that the deal isn't complete yet until they've divested enough of the, let's say, the fat they have on the company that they're small enough that Sony's willing to buy them because obviously, while they technically could buy them as is, um, if they also have to convince their internal and external shareholders that this is a viable option. Like if they're going to just buy it with, everything included, even the things that are not making money, then the decision to buy it might not make sense. So let's say if Square really wants to be bought by Sony, they're probably gonna make themselves as attractive as possible to polish, their that company until Sony is happy. Say, okay, yeah, we want to buy this as is. So yeah, that's possibly why this taking so long, if it's gonna happen, because unlike a company like Activision or Bethesda, they didn't have any. Microsoft just wanted to buy it as is. They didn't have any. There wasn't anything like, okay, yeah, get rid of that and then we're gonna buy you. But that's possible that Sony said, okay, yeah, look, we're gonna buy you, but yeah, we're not gonna buy everything. So you have to sell some of your studios. You have to sell some of your activities until you're lean and mean enough for us to consider buying you because it has to fit within our strategy. And yes, of course, as you said, they're not going to make them first party. They're going to do the same thing with Bungie. It's going to be third party. But possibly there are some arrows in their quiver saying, they already have Final Fantasy in lockdown, but maybe other games like, yeah, look, if Xbox, if you want them, make sure Call of Duty stays multi-platform, and also give them some edge. Like, okay, yeah, look, we're like with Final Fantasy, we don't have to, pay for it anymore, whatever. We're just gonna get it exclusive because they're part of our company anyway.
gotcha. Anyone else want to say something about this conversation?
As far as like the acquisition stuff goes, though, I think some people are severely overestimating how, like, if everything was concrete to remain multi-platform literally forever in the Activision deal, everything that's on the table as is currently, that being Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, etc. Yeah, I don't think Call of Duty going to Game Pass would fucking matter.
What do you mean? No.
Yeah.
It would
No.
absolutely.
I don't think it would matter at all.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to the sales, PlayStation, it already sells more on PlayStation. Like, I don't think that we've already seen that a lot of these people are full of shit and don't even put the time in the games that they claim to love already. So
Yeah,
why is
but
this game that they don't
because
like even going to matter?
because remember, you just told me about the lady that bought a PlayStation for Final Fantasy 14. There are people that are gonna buy an Xbox if they don't own one, just they can play what's called Call of Duty. And if you
No, I said in Game Pass.
yeah, even in Game Pass, yeah, of course with Game Pass,
No. I'm not
you
saying
can play it
it's
for
still
free.
everywhere. I know no one on this planet that is going to spend $500 to then pay a subscription to access one game. No, you would buy the console you want that has the games that you want, and then just purchase the game, like you've been doing.
Sir, you're just an Xbox hater, all right? The power, you don't understand the power of Game Pass, all right?
According to them. for
Apparently,
sure.
power of
apparently,
Game
one
Pass.
person said they're projecting what's called 2025 to hit 100 mil. I'm like, oh,
100 mil what? Game Pass?
yeah.
Yeah, I saw that article. I kind of laughed really hard, but you know what? All I gotta say is power your dreams. All right, that's the motto.
You forgot to switch your Xbox cap on. You forgot that
Listen,
cap.
listen. I am an ambassador, but I am a realistic ambassador. Okay, I'm not about to set us up for
Hold
the
up.
L. Okay.
How are you not fired? You're not allowed to be realistic.
Yeah, that toxic positivity. Yeah. Listen, I'm just trying not to set us up for an L. Like, just because I say they won't reach 100 million doesn't mean I don't think they'll succeed. It means I don't want to set them up for an unrealistic goal just for people to be like, what happened to that 100 mil?
So,
all right.
I want to talk about sales numbers. And
Oh, God. You don't talk about that over here.
I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed with Capcom. What the hell? Devil May Cry 5 sold only 5.7 million.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I am surprised. That's literally the 5.
I actually think that's kind of high. I thought it would sell less.
That's low. This game is
it though?
PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, and on PC. It's not on Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo can run this one. Maybe streaming, but I don't think. Maybe at 1 FPS, maybe they can run it. But if you look at the disastrous Devil May Cry 1 and 2 port, I don't think Switch can run that one. But really though, 5.7 million, that's low.
I mean, I don't really remember the hype for that game. Like, I kind of fell off.
Nah, it was hyped up to oblivion.
People were going ape shit about the combos and
to the point
my god, and
to the point
and I was
of
like, this thing doesn't sell like shit.
Maybe it just wasn't me. Oh, okay.
It was showcased on Xbox Showcase. It was revealed on Xbox Showcase.
That was the first step right there.
There's your answer right there. That's the reason why.
That was the first step.
This is Capcom. This is Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry was before God of War. How is a console? How is one game selling 20 million and on one console, and another game selling 5 mil on 3 consoles? Well, debatable if you want to compare. If you don't call PS4 and PS5 different consoles, let's do so.
And because one game is better than the other. I mean, I don't really know what to tell you.
But DMC is older than God of War. You would
so. There are a lot of franchises older than God of War that don't do as well as God of War. I mean, something being a legacy doesn't make it good. Like,
this is pretty point for the entire franchise. I mean, they all did around 4, 3, 5.
I'm not combining this franchise sales because I'm not doing that with God of War either. So this is just one game versus one game.
I know, but I'm just saying this is quite typical for the franchise. It's not these games never.
No. Uncharted 4 sold 20 mil. I think. Let me look up the actual sale for 4. I remember it seeing.
I'm talking about Devil May Cry. The entire
he's saying Devil May Cry this is par for the norm for them. This is a normal number for them.
I misunderstood what Wade said. I misunderstood what you said, Wade. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think the problem is that essentially you're saying as the market, the available market for gaming has grown, and this game was released on every major platform. It did poorly, which is facts.
Okay, so Uncharted 4 sold 50 mil as of 2019. So now I'm pretty sure it reached 20 mil. Let's give them 20 mil for compensation sake. So it's not like when you go from sequel to sequel, your what's called sales should decline. And again, DMC5 improved a lot of stuff. For it to not sell that well, that's mind-boggling for me. That legit, for me, solidify how strong PlayStation with the first party that it is.
I mean, to be fair to third-party multiplats, I mean, first-party PlayStation games do better than a lot of them. So, I mean, you can't really say like, oh,
legendary game.
Yeah,
But
like,
DMC5 had hype behind it, had what's called had advertisement behind it, had everything behind it. Is it wrong of me to expect it to sell on the level of Cyberdrunk 76?
Yeah,
Around
but
Yes,
that does
yes.
it did not have that level of hype, though. Come on now, Omar. It did not have
it didn't.
Cyberpunk level of hype.
hold up, I said Cyberdrunk 76.
Okay,
I didn't say
Cyberpunk had a
Cyberpunk.
whole other level of hype. Like everybody was hyped. Like that wasn't DMC5 did not have that level of hype. Okay, at Cyberpunk, don't do that, Omar.
Excuse me, ma'am. I was so hyped for that game.
No, I'm not saying individuals were. I'm saying as far as the mass appeal.
But,
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. You say it had promotion, but I don't think it was as heavily promoted as, for example, God of War. I mean, I don't think DMC5 had Super Bowl commercials.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't remember much outside of the Xbox.
I mean, I'm gonna say
7.
part of the thing that you're overestimating is just the appeal of that genre anymore. Like, so do the people that like that shit. They think that shit is like top tier. They think shit's gonna sell like crazy, and it fucking don't. Period.
Oh man.
Resident Evil, but
we'll see
look
the
at
same
this.
thing when Bayonetta 3 comes out. Watch what I fucking say.
Man.
But
all
look
these
at this.
people in they bag.
Let's not bring
Bayonetta
Nintendo into
3.
this. Oh man, please don't.
Resident Evil.
Oh, you can bring out the Nintendo. Oh god.
Remake sold 10 mil. Let's call it 10 mil. Because 9.8 mil. I'm not gonna call it 9.8
I mean, that
mil.
shit is 10 mil.
Yeah, and Monster Hunter Rise sold 10 mil, and Resident Evil 7 sold 11 mil. Like, it's not like.
Wait, Monster Hunter Rise sold 10 mil?
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise sold 10 mil, and Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter. I have the article here if you want. I can give it share it with you. Here, go to this. It's from Benji, but still, he's reporting sales update. And Monster Hunter World
sold 18 million.
Yep, 18 mil.
It shitted on that sales.
18. So it's like, and even Dragon, like for me, Dragon Dogma sold 6.8 mil. Let's give it a 7 mil. It sold more than DMC5.
Hey,
like that's
trying to tell you.
People have spoken.
No, but that's like it's still not getting through my brain how a big, and remember, I don't know who started the hack and genre franchise, hack and slash franchise, but it got populated by DMC. DMC1 was fantastic.
Yes,
2,
it was.
They dropped the ball really bad with that one. 3,
and 3 brought it back.
Oh,
4,
man.
And that was the end, and that's where they should have left it.
4, 4, they introduced a fucker that looked like Dante, but it's not Dante. That for the love of me, for the life of me, I never understood why the fuck make him so.
People need to learn that good things
similar
come in
to
threes.
Dante.
Oh man.
And then with 5, they even introduced a new character, and they gave them all their own playstyle. And like again, it's still not getting through my brain. I am truly expecting a franchise like this to sell 10 mil minimum.
20 mil. Oh man, Omar.
Nah, but it because of the legacy.
Listen, we've seen legacy franchises fall off. I mean, look at Halo. Like it used to be
Nah,
the phenomenon. Okay,
Halo is different. Don't disrespect DMT versus Halo.
listen, I'm just saying legacies fall, Omar. It's not impossible.
But the thing is, I played a little bit of DMC5. DMC5 is finished. DMC5 plays well, and DMC5, so far I know, didn't have third quarter of its content cut. So that's why I'm like, you. So it's like, as a developer, how do you feel then?
Like, but is it good? I mean, I hear you that it's good, but is it great? Is it standing out among the competition of all the rest of the games that came out?
Look, I'm gonna look up. You know me, we don't compare meta, but I just wanna see what its meta is.
That shit had all the opportunity.
It came out at launch, right? I don't remember, when did it come out. They came out like at the launch of the new generation, right? Or DMC5.
I think it came out at the tail end, so it came out March 8th, 2019.
Yeah.
At the tail end of the other generation.
Devil May Cry 5 is sitting at 88 meta.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm.
That's a great game.
But that's what I am truly not disconnect, and like that's what I'm having a disconnect with. Like as a developer,
but I think you having a disconnect with score versus do I want to play that game in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I was always explaining to you, right? Omar was like it don't matter what the score is. Like eventually, I'm not saying that shit doesn't help. But like everybody's not gonna get that like Elden Ring treatment just because it got X amount of high score. Like people are gonna go ape shit. Like that shit could have got a 99, and it might have got like 500,000 more sales. Like it's just people seen it. There was a demo on top of that. So people got to feel how the combos were. Shit like that was the immediate turn off point for me. Personally, I played the demo and I fucking hated it. I was like, I don't give a fuck how cheap this game is. I will never fucking touch this game.
Sorry.
I could have played the game for free and I still refuse.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, damn. Now, sorry for stopping on this one.
You also got...
Nate, you're hurting me. You wound me.
You also got to account for the cap quotient. That's the amount of people capping for it that won't buy it.
Facts. I'm about to say the false hype. Like just because you see hype does not mean that it's gonna equate to sales. Like people fake hype shit all the time.
Like all them Halo niggas that was like, I'm about to drop 600 hours.
I'm genuinely shocked with this one. Like, I'm not lying.
But I'm not, though, because I've seen the decline of the genre, right?
So
this is why I told you. Remember, I told you I told you when you first met me, right? I said, I did not want another God of War. I was sick of that shit. I was like, do not make another fucking God of War. That was the last thing I wanted to see Sony Santa Monica make, right? And then I said, that shit stepped on stage. They convinced me. They rebooted that shit. They went fucking crazy with it.
Man said, ooh, Kratos got a beard. Sign me up.
I was like, yo. And I got the fucking collector's whip from fuck that game.
So let me ask you this: with what's called?
They realized that shit was long in the tooth, and you need to switch that.
Yeah, they
gotta
switch that formula up.
Yeah,
getting old.
And people who really love the old shit, guess what, nigga? This 1, 2, 3 in Ascension. Have a ball.
Yeah. Oh no, you didn't say Ascension. With God of War, I have a question. God of War Ragnarok. Do you think it's gonna do better than the OG God of War or less?
To who is the question you're asking? You talking about to the critics or to us?
I'm talking meta wise, but I'm also talking sales wise, both.
I think it's gonna bust the sales. I think it's gonna break it.
Oh man,
and meta
that's wide open.
I think so too.
Yeah, because you're talking about dual platforms, hype and interest, no competition.
Oh
It's
yeah,
launching
yeah,
against
no
nothing.
competition.
Thanks.
Fair point. No
Yeah.
competition.
It's it's the game of the holiday.
Yeah, it's
Like,
the game of the holiday. Yeah, this is
mhm.
it. And if the meta goes even crazier, like if it's like a 96 or something, oh, okay, call it. It's
Yeah,
Mm.
20 mil by
if
March.
that happens, just get ready for people to be like,
We're
just
gonna talk about that if
hating.
that happened.
Get ready for the hate.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, bot
Guapzilla said.
reviews.
Yep.
Guapzilla said.
But
DMC1. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Weeb.
well, by the way, I was just checking, but technically, it seems to be the best-selling entry in the franchise. So I'd say Capcom is probably happy with those numbers. I mean, you also have to consider that developing those games is not as expensive as in Japan as there are in the West. So I expect that they probably made a decent profit of that. So yes, I agree with you that the game. I mean, I love the game. So for me, of course, the game should have had uh, more sales. I mean, I wish more people would have enjoyed it, but I say in terms of the series and the average of the series and probably their return on investment is probably sufficient for them to say they're happy with it and maybe we're gonna get a 6. It just I see that compared to other entries even from Capcom themselves from Monster Hunter or from Resident Evil, the series is not doing as well as those, which doesn't mean that the series is in decline or has no reason to exist. I mean, there's plenty of character action games like Bayonetta, technically Nier as well that exist that have done well. But not every game is going to do the gangbusters that some of the Sony titles are doing, or some of their even Capcom's own franchise like Monster Hunter. Um, yeah, is could they have done better? Maybe they could have spent more on marketing the game. Maybe they could have, But sometimes it's also like with Elden Ring. Like I don't think any FromSoft game before did as well as those. I mean, they all
Oh,
were.
not at all.
No,
No,
none of them.
they all were in, let's say, Devil May Cry territory, right? I mean, that's kind of the sales they had. So this is quite sort of a phenomenon kind of thing, sort of a perfect storm. And maybe if they're going to make it Devil May Cry 6 and for some reason is going to get a ridiculous amount of hype and everybody's gonna hop into it. Maybe it's going to happen too. We don't know. I mean,
True.
I don't think suddenly the Soulsborne genre has taken a leap because
Oh,
unless
absolutely not.
unless every Soulsborne game that's going to be created from now on is going to see double sales, uh, we don't see that. I mean, it is it's a sort of an anomaly, right? I mean, and yeah, sure, it's possible that FromSoft will now see higher sales in their future titles because of Elden Ring. I mean, this is also the reason why Cyberpunk got a lot of hype because of the success of The Witcher 3, which was a fantastic game, but that's entirely why people blindly trusted CDPR. And they're gonna, I mean, and FromSoft will probably keep on delivering on the games for their fans. Question, of course, is indeed Elden Ring gonna have a sort of a boosting effect on that? Like, okay, yeah, they made Elden Ring, so no, next game is gonna sell also very well, or they're gonna keep on having that sort of prestige kind of thing that people are going to keep on buying, and maybe they have more fans now. That's possible. It's also possible a lot of people might have just bought in on the hype, and if we see a steep decline in the sales of the next game, we're going to see, okay, yeah, this was an anomaly. This was a perfect storm of hype by reviewers, by fans, by promotion they made, and possibly, I mean, it's called J.R.R. Martin was involved. So Maybe he brought in those Game of Thrones and his book fans with him that also were interested in this game, and that's how you created this kind of this phenomenon, right? So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I mean, obviously this can have a lasting effect, but it can also have we can see next game is going to be back to their original levels. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that FromSoft. I mean, they're of course very happy, I think, with their sales right now, but they're unhappy with their previous entries, and they're gonna just keep on making their games just the way they want them. And if they sell 5 million in the future, they're going to be happy with that because that's sufficient for them. In the same way, Devil May Cry selling in the 5 million range is going to be sufficient for them. But I mean, of course, I personally would have seen them sell more because obviously that increases the chance of getting a 6 sooner rather than later. But that's all it is.
Gotcha. Anyone have anything to add to this conversation? Because real talk, for real, it took me a few minutes to truly grasp just how. So for me, I feel now genuinely bad for the developers.
But like we've said, I think they're happy with the sales numbers. I think they were realistic. They were realistic about the sales, unlike Square Enix.
Unlike Square Enix,
yeah, unlike Square Enix with Tomb Raider, who we was expected 20 million.
Oh, you didn't get 50 million? Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, and
I was like, hell no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I actually had that right on the nail. I said about 7 million, and that shit did like 7.5, and I was like, that's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but I think what you're just witnessing is the death of, not the death, but just the reality of the size of that genre, right? It just, unless someone's going to break the mold and really do something new, that's also accessible, because I'm going to tell you one thing that, people talk about skill ceilings and shit like that. If a game, for me to pull off certain moves in a game is so hard to the point that it's frustrating, as someone who has gamed as long as I have, that is going to frustrate the majority of people who are going to be interested in your game, which was something that I actually did not like in Devil May Cry 5. Now, don't get me wrong. They had other settings where you could hey, you could just press one button and I'll do the combos for you. But then that also feels stupid. Okay, now I'm not actually playing the game, and now I got to be told I'm not shit because I can't do the 400 step combo, and execute 97 fatalities while I'm in midair. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an overcomplicated combo system. And this is why I personally do not like overcomplicated combo systems, and I prefer systems where they give you access to certain skill sets in a different way. Because you end up with stuff like this, where the skill ceiling eventually gets so high that the majority of people are like, I'm going to watch somebody else do it, and I'm not going to play that game. Yeah. That's not the reaction you want.
To be fair, that's not my experience with the game at all.
No, I'm not saying it is for everyone. I said the majority of people who are going to run into that game, though, are going to feel that way. When I say that, I mean, I've seen other people play it, and I've seen the difference in, Sunny Legend playing Devil May Cry 5 and everybody fucking else.
Yeah, okay. But that he can do shit with any game that normal people can. But the thing is, with Devil May Cry as a series, but also 5 is, it's very easy to learn. It's hard to master, but it's not like you need to master the game to be able to play it without resorting to some sort of easy mode or cheap way out. You can play it perfectly fine with let's say an average skill set and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's just they put effort into if you really want to test your skills and get the most out of it, you can. But it's not a necessity for you to play the game, to beat the game. and it's also not you also don't feel like you're missing out on anything because you're just playing it, the way you want to play it. That to me, the game is very accessible in that way. So I don't really think personally that people were turned off by that at all. I mean, again, the game sold as well as technically the best selling in the series, but it sold as well as most of the games in that series. So it's not really. I don't think people were turned off per se by it.
Damn.
I think it just they failed to capture an additional audience beyond that.
Yeah, newer people.
Yeah, I mean, for me, right? That was if I'm not like I could get to that point, right? I executed some of the highest rank combos and stuff while I played the demo, right? But to me, it felt overly cumbersome for me to get to that point, and that's something that I didn't like. It didn't feel natural to me, as opposed to like playing something like Monster Hunter, where once I'm naturally in the flow of the weapon that I'm using, like it's going to come off a certain way. It's going to be obvious that I've practiced with that weapon. To me, I felt like a lot of the skill ceiling was just too high. But that's because I know where I want to be when I play the game. Like if I'm not able to execute the highest tier within that game, then I, regularly, um, without basically frustrating myself, then it's just too far gone for me. And I think some people will naturally, obviously, be inherently good at those games. The same way people go crazy over something like DNF Duel and all these other fighting games, because that's their bag, right? But like, I still feel like if you want to expand it, and like I said, it's not to say that it's inaccessible. It's the part that's inaccessible, I believe, to a lot of people is that SS rank, juggle for 5 minutes type bullshit that it's famous for. And that was not the case in Devil May Cry 1 or 3. I could execute everything flawlessly and play the game exactly as I wanted to, but I felt like a lot of times certain actions and stuff would happen that I didn't necessarily want, or he would strike down when I meant to strike up, and like there was lots of things that were just frustrating to me with the controls, and I felt like the fluidity wasn't there. But I felt like, this is not to say, even though, like I said, I wouldn't play the game even if it was free, after my experience with that game, I do not think Devil May Cry 5 is a bad game, because that is a misconception that some people think that I feel about Devil May Cry 5. I personally don't like that shit, just like I personally don't give a fuck about Zelda Breath of the Wild, but neither one of those games are bad.
Just not for you. Yeah,
They said if it ain't turn based, he don't want it.
You're able to distinguish between what you like and what not like. I want to ask you, Wade.
What I do think is that there might be a difference in taste, or a difference in what you're used to, or how your gaming sense has evolved. Because I'd say, like, I have the exact opposite feeling towards Devil May Cry 5 that you have, and comparing it to Monster Hunter World, because that's one of the things that I didn't really why I didn't really get into it, is because it has a system where it's slower, and it's more where you have to take time to learn the system. But I think for you, it's like, yeah, you can take the time, and then when you do, you can do exactly what you want to do. And for me, for Devil May Cry, it's more like you don't really have to take the time. You can immediately get into that and do what you want to do, but you can spend more time into that to get to the highest level where you want to be.
The frustration is coming from myself, where I expect to be in the game, and where I want to be in the game. If I feel like I never got that feeling like when I played like God of War 2018, right? I was running around beating the ever living breaks off of everything in that fucking game. And I could have upped the difficulty or something, but Omar knows I don't give a shit about difficulty. So I was running around beating the ever living shit out of everything until I died once or twice, which Morgan reveled in. Lovely.
I mean, it was funny.
Yeah, she was having a ball with that. But yeah, like it was great to me. And even when it did become, some of the more challenging enemies, I still felt like, as long as I composed myself accordingly, like the skill ceiling never felt out of reach, right? And I think part of
Even
the power fantasy
even
in
the
gaming.
what's called the Valkyrie.
I only fought 2 of them.
Oh
So I
damn.
didn't fight the rest of them
Ooh.
because I was fucking lazy and I was ready to move
Oh
on from
yeah,
the game.
nah.
Yeah.
You missed on additional story content with that
Oh
That's
one.
well,
an
I
L,
mean, yeah, I
man. That's
didn't.
an L.
Yeah, man, I was rushing,
Well,
bro. I was busy. Like,
Nah,
let me
you
tell you.
how you generally to either go play them or look them up on YouTube because it have additional story content.
oh yeah, I
I
didn't.
mean,
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
if you haven't fought the Valkyrie,
Well,
I mean, you haven't fought anything in the game. Come
I
on.
fought
Oh,
two. I
tell him,
fought
tell
2
him.
of them,
Ooh,
but I didn't fight. I didn't fight the rest of them.
Oh,
coming from a
man.
person coming from a person who platinumed it and fought the Valkyries, I still can't get the fucking the not being touched on the damn cat game right now, and that's frustrating the shit out of me. But
oh damn.
but but the Valkyries, I was determined to beat them, even though that's not my shit.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna front. If I could have just loaded them hoes up in order, I would have beat the shit out of them. But the fact that I had to walk across the fucking map, I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
the what's
Yeah.
called the fire Valkyrie. The fire Valkyrie is irritating. Not gonna lie, the fire Valkyrie where you literally need to go through a maze. That's some bullshit. I
Oh
agree.
shit!
Wait,
I hated
is there a
Maze.
trophy for beating all of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
why I literally saying, and not only the trophy, there's literally additional story information that's canon, that major, that's
I'm gonna tell
gonna
you, Omar. If I go back and beat these hoes, and I don't get a revelation, I'm flying to the Netherlands,
maybe you already know the
Oh
revelation.
man.
I don't know.
Oh man. So you pulling up.
Hey,
pulling up. I'm
maybe
taking a
you
vacation.
maybe
Oh
you're already
man.
but no, real talk though. It was shocking for me because I didn't see it coming.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
someone else did.
Bro,
I'm
niggas in the
gonna.
Discord the
I'm
other day was
I'm
crying.
going to move. I'm from. Yeah,
I
what do you want to
totally
say?
did see it coming.
You did? Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
okay, but I know the mythology, so that I
okay,
know.
so if you know the
Oh,
mythology,
okay.
then you know what's happening. Okay,
Yo, but hold on
so
real
Alright,
quick before you
I'm
move
gonna.
on. You about to
Omar, I
leave?
gotta go. Yeah.
About to
Okay,
leave?
thank you for
Yeah.
coming through, Morgan.
Bye, Morgan.
You're gonna
Bye.
miss. You're gonna miss out on the whole
Yeah.
Oh
Batman
damn.
conversation.
Oh man. What? You
Oh
would say that for last. You ain't
yeah.
shit. It's cool. That's alright. Alright.
uh, go ahead, plug your stuff.
Alright. Everybody, it's Morgan, aka Chill Bandit. Great topics today, great discussion as always. Shout out to the podcast members, shout out to the chat, and I guess I'll see you all next Saturday.
Yeah, thank you for coming through and
Peace.
shout out for the mod.
Oh yeah, no
You
problem.
was faster than me with this one. So what I want to say is, who here played the Batman franchise?
I did.
Yeah. Played all of them.
Okay,
You mean the
we
Arkham franchise?
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Arkham
talking about
specifically.
Arkham, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham
Yep, I played
Origin.
all.
Okay,
I played them.
okay, so you're all versed in this, including myself.
Yep.
Okay, when is it time to admit this game? It feels like a downscale.
Which game?
Gotham Knight.
Batman, Gotham Knight. Thank you. It's like
I don't know. I'll let you know when I play it.
I'm watching the cutscene. And I'm like, PlayStation called. They want their PlayStation 3 back. That's how it feels to me. And I watched the gameplay, and I'm like, PlayStation called. They want their mobile phone back. Yo,
You know what?
what's happening?
From the beginning, so I don't care about this game at all. Never did.
Yeah, I was about to say. I played the Batman ones, and with this one, you know how.
And when you say something about this game, that says a lot. So, but like that, dude, I'm a fan of the franchise. I didn't beat the what's called the Riddler, cause fuck them 100 collectibles or whatsoever.
What?
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
I'm not doing that. Sorry, I didn't do it. I would need a YouTube, and I didn't had access to YouTube back then. When I played them.
You're missing out story content.
I know. I actually watched it on YouTube. I learned about that from when they said hardest thing to do or something like that. I know Riddler and his robot and his pain in the ass and stuff like that. But for me, I am a fan of the detective Batman. Like when I'm doing research and stuff like that. So it frustrates me to no end when I see them with Arkham Knight, and I'm like, I'm not feeling Batman out. You know what it feels to me? And Morgan chime in. This feels
She
to me
left.
like an
Morgan
assassin.
is gone.
Yeah,
She
Morgan.
not she's no, she didn't leave. She's
Oh,
still
she's
in
in the
chat.
chat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
she's still.
Uh, if you can type in, let me know, cause you're a fan of, or maybe others are fan of Assassin's Creed. This feels to me going from Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed Origin and Odyssey. That's how it feels to me.
Oh, I
Well,
see what you're saying. Like a
to be
franchise
fair,
thing.
the guys who are developing it are the guys who made Origins, not the main line. But I mean,
Even Origin was good enough compared to
Origins
what we're getting now.
in my opinion, had probably the best story of all of them.
Which one?
Origins had the best story because if you look at the story of all the games, it's pretty meager. I mean, the only thing I liked about Arkham Knight was the entire, yeah, I guess we can spoil it at this point.
Yeah, go ahead, play it.
Nope.
8 years game? So
Yeah, I
go
mean, yeah,
ahead.
the entire Joker thing. I mean, that was
Yeah, that was
great,
fun. But
but Mark Hamill was probably better in this one than all the other Arkham games.
even
Really,
then,
because
it showed.
the story was pretty simple. Like Joker getting basically the Bane's venom and turn into a fucking Hulk, and that's it. And Arkham City was also kind of predictable in the end because it was telegraphed that what the entire point was of Arkham City, and Arkham Knight had like the worst villain reveal ever. They literally told us Arkham Knight was going to be a unique villain created for the games. It was not going to be based on an existing character, and in the end, it was just going to be was Red Hood. It was exactly the same character. So that was love bullshit they sold you.
Real talk, I am not versed in the Batman comics that much, so to me, when they revealed that it was Jason Todd, what's his name? I forgot his name. That was interesting because I really thought Joker
Yeah,
killed him.
but
But
anybody, it's literally based on the comic book stories. Anybody familiar with Batman saw this coming a mile away. The problem was
okay,
that the
but
developer told us that it's going to be a different, a unique villain, and in the end, it wasn't. It was just they repackaged the
okay,
exact same villain.
okay. So then, do you think they're gonna walk in with the same exact landmine? Because to me, everyone is calling
Well,
it. Well, let me explain what I'm talking about. With Arkham Knight, not Arkham Knight, what's called? Um, but what's the name of that new game?
Gotham
Batman.
Knight.
Thank you, Gotham Knight. With Gotham Knight, everyone is saying at some point Batman is gonna come back to life.
Of course he is.
So, do you think they're gonna are walking in with the same landmine, like for example, because they also said that gonna be some unique enemies and stuff like and unique bosses and stuff like that. Do you think, or do you think they are not stupid enough to overpromise and underdeliver now?
I have zero expectations of this game, but that was from the get-go when they essentially made this like a multiplayer game. I mean, it goes against everything that the Arkham games stood for because those were single player experience. You were playing as the Dark Knight. You who is notorious for, despite having sidekicks, for trying to do everything on his own. I mean, there was also a theme in the Arkham games themselves that he didn't rely on others, he didn't want them to help him, want them to stay out of it. And now you're going to play as the sidekicks. I mean, I get the idea but again, and that's also the problem I have with Rocksteady's game Suicide Squad. Yeah, you're going to make a multiplayer game out of a single player franchise, assuming that even based in the same universe. I don't think Gotham Knights is. I don't think Suicide Squad's probably not going to be directly in the same universe. But I mean, I don't understand why they're. I mean, I understand from their from a business perspective that they're just going to go all in on service games, that kind of bullshit. But I mean, at the very least, have one of your studios who is working on DC properties make a single player experience as you used to, because now you're essentially, they're going to release games. I mean, I don't know when Suicide Squad is going to release, but if that's going to be anywhere near, say, in half a year of Gotham Knights, you're essentially cannibalizing on your own sales, right? You're going to release 2 service games based on the same IP, released by the same publisher. They're going to cannibalize on each other if any of them are going to be successful, because people are only going to invest their time in one game at a time. So it totally makes no sense to me why they're doing this.
Okay, Morgan, you're here. I'm curious about your opinion. Do you really see it happening with what's called Gotham Knight and Arkham franchise? JWAG, we all want PlayStation to buy Square, come on. Explain to me why you don't want. I'm curious. JWAG, go ahead. Morgan, to me it really feels like Assassin's Creed going from 1 to 3 all the way to Odyssey now. Because for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Suicide Squad gameplay looks 10 times better than Gotham Knight. Am I wrong?
Well, I will say Suicide Squad is what I'm gunning for when it comes out, not Gotham Knights.
I mean,
You already
Suicide Squad
you
just
already
looks
have
like a higher budget game.
Don't you have already Gotham Knight pre-ordered?
Who, me?
Yeah?
Hell no.
Okay. So that's not a day one for you.
Nope.
Let me see.
I think the multiplayer aspect is what kind of threw me off.
Oh, what multiplayer? Oh, they already said that there is no microtransactions in it.
Yeah.
So hold up. I believe Gotham Knight is. Wait. Okay, this changes the entire conversation. Get this. On what platform do you guys believe Gotham Knight is on?
On everything except Switch.
Nope.
PlayStation only?
It's next gen. It's next gen only.
Oh, next gen only. Yeah, but it looks like.
It looks like a PlayStation 3 game. What's going on?
Bro, I think you're just leaning into these Twitter videos too much.
It's on more than one platform. Multi-platform usually looks like ads compared to.
Nah, but this is a PlayStation 5 game.
Yeah, but the Xbox Series X is shit. That's the issue. So.
Okay, so JWAG, us PlayStation fans are missing out on games like Live and Live or Live Alive and what's called other games that are going on Nintendo and not on PlayStation. That's what I care about. I care about, despite the fact that I'm getting a Switch, I'm hearing now horrible stuff about the Switch not doing 30 FPS. Cause I watch gameplay and 20 FPS, I can't do 20 FPS. That's horrible. But it with Gotham Knight, it truly feels now we're back to PlayStation 3 generation. Like this is I will give them. I'll throw them a bone. This is early PlayStation 4 visual. Would you guys agree?
But I don't even know what you just said.
I said I would throw
definitely
them.
not PlayStation 5.
I would throw them a bone, and I said this is early PlayStation 4 visuals. Would you guys agree?
I'm gonna let you judge it when you see final footage.
Okay, fair point.
Because I am extremely harsh when it comes to graphics, and we not seeing the same thing. So I'll wait and we'll see when we see the final product, and you get some direct feed final product footage, and we'll see how you feel then.
Okay, fair point. Final topic is going to be this, and I don't have a job. I don't work, but tonight it's my job to convince all of you to play Sword and Fairies number 7. I'm gonna start. So basically, me and Viper and Weeb, we're playing Sword and Fairies. I put 20 hours in. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna start with the negative and then go up to the positive. So, and me and Viper, we're gonna tag team. Because he had his own experience and I had mine. So, Viper, we had a conversation about it, but I forgot to mention it for you. HUD is an issue for me. They hide the HUD most of the time. You don't know how much HP and MP you have. You only can know when you choose a skill. So when you press the R2, which basically should pop up your skill set, you don't even get to see what skills are ready to be used. Do you have the same issue that HUD is very close?
Well, the first of all, I can do it right now, but sometimes I try to hit R2 to look at my skills. If I don't have my sword unsheathed, you won't be able to see anything. So, first of all, you got to unsheath your sword by doing a light swing or a heavy swing.
That's stupid.
At that point, your HP will pop up, and then you can hold R2 to find out what your skills look like and where they at.
But the fact that you need to hit with your sword, that's stupid. Because, newsflash, Ghost of Tsushima exists. And if anyone ever played Ghost of Tsushima, all you need to do is to hold up the skill button, the same skill button that what's called Sword and Fairy 7 have, and you can see directly all your skills and what they do. I understand they want to keep HUD to minimum. Fair. I like that. I love that even. But make it accessible. Because what end up happening is, I'm next to an enemy. The enemy is not Argo.
You want to hit them with magic before they notice you.
Precisely. I want to see. I want to see wave move is ready. What should I use on him?
Oh, you know what you do, Omar? You pull your sword out, then hit your magic. You don't aggro them by pulling out your sword.
No, you do aggro because what you do, she does a leap attack and you hit him.
No, not true. You can stand about 5 or 6 feet away from him and unsheath your sword, then move a little closer and hit him with the magic. Now, if you're right next to him and you unsheath your sword, yeah, they're gonna get aggro very quickly.
But that's the issue. I don't know the distance where I need to be from away to what's called to not aggro. That's my issue with it is you need to hit the slash button in order for you
You,
empty. And
you,
even then,
you didn't test it
sometimes
out?
yeah. Sorry.
What I do when I'm learning a new game and I run up on some enemies, I try to see how far the aggro is based on whether the sword is out or not.
Mm,
There's been times when my sword's been sheathed and I've been right next to them and they don't do anything, but the moment I pull it out, they're like, "All right, this it's go time."
okay. Okay. So the other issue I already told you about, Viper, and you disagree with me about that. Basically, I am far ahead from my teammate. I start the fight and I finish the fight on my own. And teammate
Without your teammates.
and teammate
Yeah.
are either stuck with their two left feet, or they're far behind and they're not next to me. I
Well,
understand. I'm coming from a JRPG guy that
mhm.
is always get teleported to a different area, almost like when you're fighting. So I understand that this is an open world action adventure. What's called real time, but I don't recall this ever have been an issue in Final Fantasy 12, for example.
I will agree that that does need to be fixed. There are some games I've played multiple games where stuff where shit like that's happened where I'm trying to get
Mm,
the. I'll tell you one thing: Tales of Arise that never happened.
mm,
The teammates were always there with you. What would help is like we said discussed a system where not a gambit but like a general direction as to what you want your characters to do,
oh yeah,
like
that would be the
always
helpful.
attack or save on magic or stuff like that. They don't have that. Um,
Yeah, that's an issue. Like, this is why when I need, so I literally need to memorize my mage can do slow, my ice move can slow down the enemy. So I need to switch character to my mage, do one move, then switch to my other character, do another move. I really, cause when you equip your skills, you're only allowed to equip your skill for one character, and you can switch between them on the fly. But the issue arrived when, and again, I don't know if you didn't fight it. So later down the road, they introduce to you new enemies. These enemies are one of a kind. You can fight them one time, and you can set up on them. What I mean by that is you can make them do less damage, or you can throw a snow or ice magic on them to slow them down, and they don't aggro. That's the funny part is you need to come closer, even if you do magic damage. You can do that without them aggroing. So what I do is I throw a slow on them, and I throw what's called uh, weaker defense on them, and then I start destroying them. And I really wish there was almost like an all attack button, all attack chance, or something like that. Because when our attack combined, we are a force to be reckoned with. But and especially later areas, they introduce you where you have a certain amount of time to attack an enemy before it protects itself and stuff like that. So you would want to do your best move by then, but sadly there
right.
is no way to do that. So that's a missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity. Well, no, this is just some regular stuff. Some glitches, a few glitches here and there. You
Quite a few.
I mean, yeah, quite a few. Um, Me and Viper, we experienced the exact same glitch, which is funny. At some point, you're sitting at the dinner table, and your character is literally floating in the air, almost sitting like an invisible chair or something like that. And I'm like, is this supposed to be like that? But after that, I got a cutscene, and the cutscene was black, but music was playing. So I pressed the touchpad button, and yes, the fucking touchpad button is the pause menu. Let that sink in. There is a pause menu in the controller, but instead of using the actual pause menu, they use the touchpad. And the pause menu is the fucking game menu, which for your skills and equipment, that's laughable.
I think
Viper.
you're dropped.
Hello, Omar.
You're breaking
Yeah, I
Sorry?
up.
think your laptop is doing
No, it's not my. Wait, what's going on?
on the weird thing again where it's dropping you every
Yes.
now
Wait, what's going on? Repeat that.
and then. If you're talking, we can't hear you right now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so what I was saying,
You have a short in the cable?
the glitch. So basically, the glitch, I found out that the glitch because after the glitch happened, I had a cutscene, and it was black. So it was a matter of reloading save file, and then the cutscene was normal. That's my issue. I have it on video, but my issue, I'm now having issue with my Twitter account on PlayStation. It's not being almost recognized. Like, I've sent a few tweets on my PlayStation account to my Twitter, and every single one of them didn't get through. I even, unlinked my account on PlayStation and relinked it, and nothing changed. So I'm gonna call PlayStation service Monday.
Question: do you have the auto load up to the PlayStation app? Do you have that turned on?
Not so far I know, no. I think I turned it off.
Is it rejecting them, or is it
But
saying that it's loading up, but you don't see anything?
No, it's not saying anything.
Oh.
I remember when it rejects, then I would send it again, no problem. But with this one, it's not saying anything. So there is that.
The only thing I saw from you, since I started on this podcast is that test that you sent yesterday. I haven't seen anything else since.
That was for my phone. I posted gameplay of my minigame. I posted gameplay of a boss I fought. So I'm having a big issue. I might need to start a new Twitter account if that's the case. Which I have no issue doing.
You can't upload from the PlayStation.
So it seems. I need to see what's going on. Okay, now going back to the game. So negative. The negative part is when you equip, and this is just for the equipment part. When you equip something, it stays equipped unless you switch it with different stuff. So you cannot unequip completely, which is stupid, cause they auto equip for you what's called item on your left touchpad. But the issue is no. Let's not analog stick. Left what do you call the up and down left right button?
Thumbstick? Or are you talking about the directional pad?
Yeah, what do you call that? There is the analog.
Are you talking about the analog, analog or the digital?
I think analog, because digital is the round button, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so the button for pulling out your map?
Yeah, it's left.
So
left button.
so that button becomes usable for shortcut for an item use. But I never placed that, and I can't even remove it. I need to put that item on my...
I see what you're saying.
I need to put that item on above so that it would be memorized there, and then it would get removed from my left pad. Because every time I'm running away from an enemy and I want to open my menu and my map and see what I'm looking for,
you use it by accident.
I used my most expensive items. That's an issue. And again, this is a game that I'm loving, but the issues are starting to grow.
So I'm question, Omar. When you're holding your controller, do you hold it with your hands at 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, or do you hold it at 3 and 9 o'clock?
Excuse fucking me. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry, dude. You
No,
lost me.
okay. So if you look at a clock, you know where the hands are when it's at the 5 and the 7.
Give me.
Like
Give me.
you hold it like a V almost. It's hard to explain.
I'm holding my controller with my thumb on the triangle square X button and then left right left L1 R1 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 all the way. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. You legit lost me. I'm sorry.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll draw a picture and I'll send it via Twitter so we can discuss.
You legit lost me with that one. Right. I'm like, what the hell is going on? No, it's okay. It's funny. It was funny. So So I'm now gonna go to the positive, which there is a lot. First of all, one of the best main character I have ever experienced. And again, this is for me. Everyone is different. But for me, I like a good, smart main character. I like a main character that is self-aware what's going on around him or around her. I am not a fan of a main character that allows their entire team to go through what's called a clearly cut trap just because it's stupid. I'm looking at you, Tidos, or even Cloud. Both of them are have the IQ of an egg. Other than that, I love how self-aware she is. I truly do. And every single main character is different and plays different. And they all grow. What I mean by that, I mean literally in terms of, you know how in anime you get anime character arc, character development? That's what you're experiencing with the game. And I can't stress this enough. Every single one of them is valuable. Not one. There is one character that feels almost like a fucking rock. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second character you get as your main character. You know, the character you start with at the player.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. He literally feels like a rock. Maybe the
deity.
Yeah, he is literally a rock. There is zero emotion out of him. Maybe now when he is almost like starting to become more human, maybe we're gonna see more emotion out of him. And
yeah, he's acting like that because he's trying to blend in. He don't want to come off as this almighty person.
Yeah, but still, you can still give him his own personality. But they didn't. They made him almost like
that might come later. That might come later.
Maybe. I'm waiting on that. I believe I am close to the end. I think. I have a I have a hunch where the story is heading. I will see if I'm correct or not. And I'm gonna start with one more negative I forgot to mention, which is, and this is I had an issue with the Ace 9 series, Ace 9 is franchise. When you have reusable skill, reskinned, not reskinned, it's literally the same fucking skill with one additional animation. It's almost like they ran out of ideas what to give a character do. So, for example, one skill is you raise your sword and then multiple swords start hitting the enemies direct forward. Well,
okay, so I know what skill that is.
So yeah, so your second skill that you get later in the game, and I'm literally like level 30 or something like that. It's literally the same, but they added a few more swords.
Wait, you said the second skill like that, or is it a level up?
No, you literally gain a second skill that's literally that, but with 1 or 2 additional swords, or 3.
Because I got 3 skills right now, and they're all 3 different. That's why I'm
Yeah,
confused. Because
but that's
my
why.
second skill was a
Oh
forward
no,
slash.
I mean what I mean by that is when you at some point when you got to level 30, you get a second skill, but the second
Okay,
skill
you get another skill. Okay.
is literally the same one, just with an upgrade.
Oh well,
So,
then put the upgrade on and leave the old one behind.
but the
That's easy.
stupid, but that stupid. So what I mean by that is you, why not give us something different? So I believe they should have done it like this. If you use your skill a lot, it level up, and by leveling up, it become what you are seeing now, which is the second skill. It should have made it like this. Maybe that's my nitpicking, but that's just how I feel. Um, Now for the positive. I'm playing number 7. I'm not lost. I have never once felt lost with the story. The story is cohesive. The story is understandable. The story is almost like predictable in a way if you pay attention. It got shit ton of lores with books up the wazoo. I have yet to touch a single one of them. If you're a completionist, at some point they give you an item where you start seeing blue dots. Grab the blue dots. You're gonna get a lot of equipment out of them and a lot of stuff. Other than that, I love that they give you the ability to reset. So, for example, not spoiler, you have something called spirit. Your spirit, you can level it up via fruit. So you level it up. When you level it up, you to get 2 points. You can choose, for example, you want more MP or more HP. But it's not permanent. At any time, you can choose you wanna have more HP or more MP and switch between the two. And I love that. I love that they thought, okay, maybe people wanna switch and wanna do it. Maybe sometimes you, like for example, I have now a spirit that give me either more chance of loot or more loot. So I expect it equally. I have more loot and more chance of loot. And maybe if I gotta go with a unique enemy, I'm gonna go with more chance of loot or more loot. So I can get that unique item that I want out of it. So that's very smart. And I can't stress this enough. With this game, do the side quest. There are literally skills for the main character hidden behind side quests. I cannot stress this enough. Side quests are important. Not only they add to the lore, not only they add to the culture, they also give you new skills basically, or new weapons, or whatsoever. Like it was a random side quest that it was a series of side quests. I did them, and at the end, it literally gave me an awakening for my characters. Sorry.
I said, yeah, that awakening is something else. That's around the point where I had stopped at
Nah,
hour number 10.
nah. This awakening is a level up awakening.
I
You,
know. I'm
yeah,
just saying. When I started seeing awakenings was about the 10-hour mark when I was playing, and that's when I had stopped.
yeah. Nah, this awakening is literally a summon, while your awakening is still almost like your character and gets
It's a piece
stronger.
of shit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But other than that, I'm loving the game. Again, nitpicky. I can be nitpicky all the time. But for example, I'm loving the fact that you can see what your skill does before equip it. They explain to you what a spell does. and I love that. It's more
They
understandable.
actually
Like,
have a video
yeah,
reference
a
to
video
show you what it
reference.
looks like.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that, and I truly love that because not a lot of games does that. Triple A games don't do that shit. So I was a fan of that. I don't know if you noticed, Viper. Some of the enemy feels like almost like stiff.
Yeah,
Character wise, they feel stiff. I think that's a
hmm,
budget
I
issue.
can agree with that.
I think that's a budget issue, which is why exactly. Okay, so other stuff I had an issue with when some cutscenes literally feels like 120 FPS because they run so fast.
So Omar, I did some counting, and you have more negatives than positives.
Dude, I'm loving that game, but these are just issues I experience and I'm curious. But I have yet to. I actually talked about so the positive is the main character, the characters themselves, the world building, the storytelling,
Well,
the
to
voice
be fair,
acting. Yeah.
to be fair, some of your negatives are just gameplay mechanics that you prefer
Mhm.
that you prefer from a different game. That's all,
Mhm.
and that's a you problem.
Mhm. Yeah, but that's why I said, even with the storytelling, I'm loving it. But for me,
Right?
I am loving it. Everything I just said is about me, my
Yeah,
opinion.
of course.
Um, Storytelling, I'm loving it. I truly am. I'm talking with almost every single NPC, cause you're gonna get additional information. You're gonna get a quest that doesn't even show up on the map sometimes, and you get item out of it. So talk with everyone. Learn that. Other than that is the fact that they made side quests so important. I can't stress it enough. Respect, nothing but respect for them. I'm loving it. And at the end, this is a Chinese culture. So by being Chinese, you are doing a different mythology that is not doesn't exist a lot. So character design is gonna be different. The way of storytelling is gonna be different. Even the what's called the element versus element. But for example, you would think fire beats ice. No, lighting beats ice. For example, something like that. Oh, I forgot. Ice beat fire. I forgot which one it is. But it's totally different mythology, and I can't stress this enough. I recommend this game. Yet I gave a lot of negative, but my negative is not me hating on the game. My negative is what could have made the game better to push it to that 90 mark meta. For me, right now, it's an 87 to 88 on meta
Hmm.
with everything that I said. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go uh, towards the 90 when I get at the end, cause loving that game, and I can't stress it enough. I'm having a blast. Like for the first time, well, one of the few time, I actually didn't want to do a podcast. Not because I don't want to, because I want to play more.
Play the game. Yeah, that's normal. Bari and Persona do that all the time. They say, "Hey, we're
So,
not doing this podcast because we there's our favorite game. We're playing this game. Go away."
but I would never do that because I have only show of the week. So, and I am always looking forward to the conversation. So,
Well,
Viper, the
with
floor
that
is
being
yours.
said, so I got a CX, so therefore I can actually look at frames and shit. If I plop it on the 120 port and hit this green button on this remote, um, and I can tell you that. Well, first of all, immediately during the intro, I could tell the haptic feedback was done on par with games like Ratchet and Astrobot. Um, because as he's battling and as he's like leaping into the air, you feel all of that. I hear Returnal is really. I haven't played Returnal, but I hear Returnal is really good with not only the haptic feedback but also the 3D audio.
Mm.
Um, so I don't have any comparison with that, but I have played Ratchet and I have played Astrobot, and I know that the haptic feedback is on par with this game. Like they utilized it, even though it's a third party, they utilized it. Um, the 3D audio works really well. Like I said, I heard Returnal is the best, so I can't compare it to Returnal, but it does quite well. I can say on the same level with Ratchet as well. Um, I noticed in the beginning there's going to be some precise jumping or platforming that will be needed, and that's not my thing. But hey, I'm willing to deal with it if it's a good game. The game has awesome verticality. Uh, you could be in a village and yeah, there's some places you can't go, but you can stand on every roof in there.
For the
So
most part, some stuff you
for the
can't, but
most
for
part,
the
yeah.
most part, yeah.
There's going to be some QTE sequences. There was a
I
lot,
forgot
a
to
few of
mention
those.
them. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Right, right. There was some in the beginning. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some later. I forgot to mention. I only put 10 hours into the game, so I just got the third character. But then I said I was going to stop and play other games, but I'm definitely going back to it. The gameplay is visually solid. Using the CX, I use the frame rate checker, and it's 60 locked during gameplay. The cutscenes are 30 and can drop to as low as 15. That now that's not an issue for most people
Wait,
because
wait, wait.
yes, the
Sorry, sorry,
cutscenes can
sorry.
drop down to 15.
Sorry, hold up. So why does it feel faster though? It's like, for
No,
example, when she's literally at the beginning, the beginning of the game, when you're
mhm.
chasing after that, what called, the crow. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, right. Yeah, the
Yeah,
crow. Yeah.
or even when you're guiding that monster that's running up behind after you, it literally feels like on speed up.
Oh no. That is the 20 to 25 range. I'm just saying, and it's an exaggeration really because it only dropped to like really 17
So
on
why
one
does it
spot.
feel so speed up then? Why does it feel sped up? The cutscenes literally feels like they've been sped up.
Oh no, not all. Wait, what? No, those cutscenes are horrid. What do you mean they feel like they sped up?
But for me,
It, you can't
they
you
literally
can't
feel.
honestly you can't honestly look at the 60 frames per second gameplay, then go straight into the cutscene and not notice that it's fucking with your eyes.
It's fucking with my eyes so bad that I literally see them faster now. Real talk. I literally
Well,
feels like the cutscenes are faster. Maybe it's different for a different person because I need
like,
to screenshot it or videotape it because it literally feels to me like it's running fast, super fast.
well, the thing is, with some of the cutscenes, it's slower because you can tell it's a 30 frames per second, but sometimes there's a small like quarter-second stutter that you can see that's a lot slower than the rest of the cutscene. That's the lowest dip you'll see. And then I see what you mean. They'll speed it up to try to keep you from noticing any more of those. But yeah, sometimes it'll go from 60 to 30. Your eyes will be like, "What the hell is this?" And then you'll get a teeny stutter, and then it'll catch up.
I don't
But
know. I need to make a
I can
video of it.
I
Or
can
maybe
record it
I
and
need
put
to
it up.
look it up on YouTube and see if it's any different. Cause to me, it
Right.
literally feels like for example, a crow is supposed to fly one, two, three, almost like a second per oh fuck me, let's say 1 kilometer per 10 seconds. It's
Uh
literally
huh.
flying for me 2 to 3 kilometers per 10 seconds with the
Mm.
cutscene. Like the cutscene is literally flying uh, through to the point where I'm like, why is it so fast? So I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know what's
Wow.
happening. Yeah,
I'm amazed
I'm
because
I'm gonna try and look it up on YouTube and then send it to you, and we're gonna compare it and talk about it if it's the
that
same
works.
thing or not.
Oh yeah, I would definitely like to look into that
Sorry
more.
about that.
Uh,
Continue.
the combos are smooth. But this is not a game to be button mashing because normally in your third and fourth swing or kick is a longer animation than the first two, and it will leave you open for an attack if you start button mashing. Um, but they do make it so that the combos feel smooth once you learn to let the frame finish. Uh, and like Omar said, my favorite thing, the unique aspect of the spirit moves, where you can adjust it at any time. Let's say, for example, you're coming up against a boss that is weak to lightning, and you got spirit points. You have skill points, so to speak, that you can adjust on the fly. So you can max out your thunder with the skill points and then just tear that boss a new asshole. And then in the next battle, let's say you need HP. Well, you can take the points away from the thunder and put it into your HP so you have more HP for the next battle. Um, this I've never seen a skill point system like this at all the games that I've played. And I think this is one unique aspect that I really like about the game. Um, my my only negative, and it's a silly one, they make you learn a card game in the most inopportune spot where you would learn a card game.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like okay, let's go to bed. We're going on a journey, and then poof, hey, you want to learn how to play cards? I'm like, what the fuck is this? No, we got shit to do in the morning. So, but that's all the
It's
technical
almost
shit that
like
I've been looking at.
it's almost like the dev like, okay, so we have this card game, and we want you to pay attention to it. So where should we put it? How about when you go to first time you visit the what's called a town area, and next to that, literally in the middle of the town, there is a big arrow pointing to this card game. Hey, or literally make it like a fucking what's called objective, main story objective.
Yep.
Go
Hmm.
and listen to this. This is a card game. Something
Shit, it
like
could be a
that.
side quest.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think too much of it at first, but when I started hearing you talking about it, I'm like, yeah, it's
Because
stupid.
they put a big fucking M on it and says this is the main mission, and then you get there and you're like, what? So that's it.
It's funny.
It's a good
Um,
game though, and I'm going back
but
to
but 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 you agreed with me.
it. Yeah.
Why did you not mention it about the equipment?
Oh, you talking about the not being able to
Yep,
unequip equipment?
yep,
Oh
yep.
yeah, that's a you already covered it though. That's a negative to me.
Okay.
Hey guys,
It,
I'm gonna drop. I'm dead tired. Have
Oh,
fun.
Witcher thing is literally we're ending it soon, right now. Just do your outro then.
yeah, that was it.
Weeb.
We're done.
Yeah,
All
do
right.
your outro, Weeb.
This is the Weeb Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome on Twitter, and you can also find me as the Weeb Sheriff on YouTube. Great show and Other Nation. Bye.
Boo. Great show. I wanna hear your opinion next week about the game. Cause I'm pretty sure you're
Sure.
gonna come with a different opinion than us. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of things that I'm not haven't seen yet.
Okay. Thank you for coming through, Weeb. Really appreciate it. And good night. Viper, finish your thoughts, and we're gonna have Nate, the party pooper, say how he not gonna play it, and we're gonna close it off.
Oh, I'm done. You said I just agree with you about the
Okay.
ability to unequip stuff, to not being able to.
So if so far, you stop playing, cause
I'm soon as I'm going back to it. I should be going back to it within about 2 weeks or so.
Dude, that's disrespect. The disrespect. You really want to play 6, eh?
Yeah, I'm a connection type dude, and I mean, it may not have anything to do with 7, but
Okay.
that's what I do. It's in my DNA.
Hey, it's your torture. Go ahead, do so.
He said,
enjoy
"If you
it.
like torture."
Hey, did you see the gameplay for 6?
Yeah, it
And
stutters. I mean,
and
but
Nate, it's running 20 FPS. I was done. And this is on a 4K 6 what's called PC. This was PC gameplay. Nate, go ahead, be a party pooper. Also, Weeb, why haven't you dropped yet?
he did. I don't see him.
Why? Oh, now he dropped on my end.
Wait, what? He
Yeah.
dropped like 5 minutes ago for me.
So how far are we behind with what's called with YouTube channel? Oh, okay. So I am literally a few minutes behind. Sorry about that.
I don't see him.
Now it's gone. No, never mind. So Nate, be a part pooper. Go ahead. Now all of a sudden you wanna be nice? As to Nate, can you hear me? Viper, you here?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you already know how I feel, man. It looks like I said, the game. I was already nice. The game just is not for me, bro. It doesn't look top tier, man.
Interesting. Oh,
You can't hear me?
yeah, now I hear
Oh,
you.
we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he was gone for
I think
a
he's
time.
way behind, dude.
Huh?
Oh.
Like,
Yeah,
why am I hearing
Can you
myself?
hear me now? Nate, can you hear me? Viper, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Somebody's delayed. I don't know who.
I think Nate is delayed.
Let me check the.
Cause Nate would be talking.
I can hear you right now.
Hey, what's happening? Discord is being Discord. Go ahead, Nate. Give us your thought.
Oh, he left and came back.
Okay, Nate, go ahead. Give us your thought.
Okay.
He might be. Okay, he's good.
Okay.
Are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah. Like I said, man, it's just not for me. The game just doesn't look that good, to be honest. Especially not in comparison to all the dope shit I got to play already. So, yeah, I mean, maybe one day if they clean it up, they get to that AAA tier, and they really get up there, then we'll see. Whether that happens first or I finish my backlog first, that's up to them.
Well,
But,
I will admit a couple of patches. It's going to need a couple of patches because it's not without its faults.
I don't think it's gonna be able to fix everything with the patches. Like for example, the stiff characters is not fixable with the patch. You need literally more budget, bigger budget.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's the quality that it's not up to the quality that I'm used to, and like I said, at the very least, I might pick it up one day when it's $9.99.
So you're not a fan of indies, then?
It's not that I'm not a fan of indies. I'm not a fan of that game.
Okay.
Yeah, like it. So I'm even harsher because beyond what a lot of people, the game is trying to mimic like Wuxia novels, which I actually read, right? So I can't accept a shitty form of that, right? Like I'm going to be even harsher. Wuxia novels.
What's that?
It's the stuff that it's basically the light novel version for manhwa and so on and so forth.
How is it trying to mimic that?
Because that's what the story is about. That's literally what the story is about. That's what that whole series is about.
Okay.
Yeah, they're based on that, like the Chinese novels and stuff like that. That's what they're based on.
I don't read Chinese, so okay. Me no more
Uh,
about that.
I get the I get the Golden Child Eddie Murphy movie type vibes
Yeah,
when I'm
but
playing.
with that one, there's a twist.
yeah. So yeah, but like I said, there's stuff like this. The reason, I mean, you can see it. It's on Netflix too. I mean, there's stuff that is on Netflix that's from there that has live action versions of this stuff. Like the stories are all relatively the same. They follow cultivation and executing certain skill sets and stuff like that. Like they're really dope. Like I love reading them in manhwa form or whatever. But yeah, the game just quality wise just doesn't stand up for me. If I had absolutely nothing to play right now, yeah, sure, probably. But yeah, that's almost never gonna happen.
Oh
So
yeah. See you in
yeah,
2020 million or something like that. Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's never
Already
gonna
told
happen.
Morgan I'm probably not gonna purchase a game for the rest of August. So
Okay,
Yeah, that makes the both of us. I got in trouble.
oh
be a
boy,
party pooper because I
fun
recommend them
police
too
got your
many
ass.
games. I recommend them so many games to the point
I
where
blew my budget. I blew my budget, and they say lock my card
he
because they
is
watch
now
my account.
he is now in
Damn.
jail. He is in jail.
Well, you got everything pre-ordered from here to Kazakhstan, so you good.
Yeah. No, but to be fair for him, we found a few games that dirt cheap. For literally, for example, the Danganronpa franchise
Oh
is,
yeah,
is literally for $10 or so. What did you pay?
they
65.
they were. It would have been 140 for the whole because it was $40 a piece, and then the newest one was 20, so it was 120 for yeah. It was been 140 for the whole thing, but they went on sale and it was like $10 for one, $7 for another, $10 for another, and I was like, okay, well I'll grab it now while it's like that. Only paid
And
60 for the whole thing.
and survive at with a car jail for 4 days.
Digimon
So
Survive.
He
oh
already
yeah,
owned
I
that,
yeah
so
yep
and right now he's playing what? You finished. You got the platinum in Cosmic. Is it that
yeah.
easy?
Oh, the last 5 trophies are glitched. Because right before the asteroid belt thing, or the asteroid fight or level, because I had to, in order to get the trophy to pop. Excuse me. I have to exit out of the game, like close it, and then reload it before I did the boss fights and got the trophy back. So literally, I fought the last 5 trophies of bosses. I had to do them like 2-3 times a piece because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't figure it
Damn.
out till the very last trophy what was happening.
Damn. So how was the game for you? Cause that's a
It was
game
cool.
Nate
That
wants to
that
buy as well.
story that story is surprisingly fucking good, really,
You,
for it to look like that.
Cosmic Star Heroine is dope.
you
Oh
played it?
yeah,
I've owned it since day one on Switch, and I own it on PC as well.
Okay. That's a game I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna play that or I Am Setsuna. There's also I Am Setsuna, that's why. But yeah, this was a very great conversation. I can't stress this enough. I had so much fun with this one. Where people can find you, Nate.
Yeah, just on Twitter at the real Innate, on PSN at Innate, on PC at the real Innate for Xbox, and just Innate again on Steam. But yeah, they can always find me, of course, gaming because that's what I'm doing, or fixing someone's PC, which is also currently what I'm doing. Um, but yeah,
Wait,
otherwise, man, just keep it gaming.
wait, is the Game Pass getting an $5
It's getting a family version.
family No, it's literally $15 now.
right.
It's been $15
Oh, been $15.
because
Okay.
That's Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Viper, where people can find you?
Uh, So it's Viper Reap on PSN and YouTube. It's at Reap Viper on Twitter. I just recently got in contact with the graphics designer. I'm gonna have some things changed. I'm getting a logo and a banner put up in some places. I need to get my YouTube channel popping again because when Gran Turismo 7 came out, it was people was actually going there and getting tips. But it's a little slow. I guess I got the graphics designer. Things are going to change. I know I haven't uploaded something in about 4 or 5 months, but I'm going to start putting more content up. That's it. And I'm going to slither back into my corner.
It's fascinating how, when I first met you, you're always in your corner. Despite the fact that you're always super chatting, you're always listening and stuff like that, I never ever once heard you on a podcast before. It took Game Slayer to bring you in for you to, yeah, start talking and
Yes,
stuff like that.
we will go with that. But I will tell you the truth later. No, I'm kidding.
But this was a fantastic conversation. Again, you know me, I'm a gamer. I love gaming as much as anyone. But when a conversation is genuine and fun, I'm gonna enjoy it. And yeah, people can find me Caravan Scorch on Twitter, or maybe a new Twitter account. Depends on what happens Monday. I'm
What,
gonna
what
call.
what is the whole deal with that? All of a sudden,
Oh,
you noticed that?
yeah. So for a few days now, even Viper Reap told me uh, his last tweet from me he saw was what, 2 days, 3 days ago? You said?
It was the test that you said. I believe it was
No,
yesterday.
that's literally yesterday. But I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
before.
I've never seen anything from you since. I see you liking tweets and I see you retweeting, but anything you posted has been it's not there.
So I
Not even on
posted
your timeline.
a few gameplays from what's called um, Sword and Fairy, and nothing coming through. So I unlinked my Twitter account on my PlayStation and then relinked it, and still nothing happened. So I did a
Yeah, so
test last.
you're not having a problem posting. You're having a problem posting from your PlayStation.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
my
yeah.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call test PlayStation tomorrow, Monday, and see what's up. Unlike USA customer service, Dutch customer service are way better and way nicer also. So,
I can agree with that.
and with that being said, shout out to the people that came through, shout out to the chat that came through. This was, I can't stress this enough, a fantastic conversation, and we are out! Let me try to end this. No, I will not end stream from there.